It's Richard Wolfenden. I'm joined by the former Brighton and Leicester midfielder Dean Hammond. Just a quick word, Dean, on one of the results yesterday. Southampton versus Everton. You were one of the lucky ones who got to see that live. The first defeat in the Premier League for Everton this season. Was it more about Southampton being brilliant than it was about Everton being poor?
Yeah, I would say that. I would always look at that. I thought Southampton were excellent. Saying that, Everton were pretty good first 10-15 minutes, controlled possession, hit the crossbar through Sigurdsson, but from that point on Southampton really controlled it, dominated the game, look a real threat with Danny Ings and Shay Adams up front. They're combining well and forming a really good partnership. And James Ward-Prowse, excellent strike and a really good finish, and is in turning into a really good player since he's been given that armband, so that extra responsibility is improving his performance. But Everton weren't at their best, I must admit, but I'd like to give credit to Southampton. Really, really good performance, and I think they could be one of the surprise packages of this season. Yeah,
well, they're slowly creeping their way up the Premier League table. It was a year ago to the day, wasn't it, yesterday, when they lost 9-0. That absolute hammering at the hands of Leicester City. Who is it who's led the kick on, really? Has it been the players that have led it, or has it been the manager, Ralph Hasenhüttl, do you think?
I think it's been a combination, Richard. I think the one thing that has to go to the club is the hierarchy at the football club of keeping the manager when they did have that big defeat. They backed him. They believe in him, and that's really proved that. And since they came back from the lockdown period, the short season we had at the end of last season, they were fantastic. He's kept to his philosophy. He's kept to what he believes in, a high-tempo press, so the players have to be fit and strong, and he plays attacking football. So every game I watch Southampton play, he goes to win. There's no draws. He keeps to the same system, keeps to the same formation. He keeps a regular team if possible, because the squad is not massive, and the players believe him. So there's been a combination, but I'd say the manager has done really, really well. But credit to the chairman, to the owners for sticking by him.
How important is that as a former pro yourself, to have the manager know what his best 11 is and not rotate it every week? How important is that?
Well, I think it's really important if you can do it, with injuries and recovery, because it just gives you belief and confidence. You get the trust of the manager, and you can build relationships with other players, partnerships, the centre-half partnerships, the midfield partnership, and especially the strike force. I think that's what Danny Ings and Shay Adams are doing. They really understand how to play with each other. They're looking for each other. I mean, Danny Ings got 2 assists yesterday. One was for Shay Adams, and the previous game against Chelsea, Shay Adams got an assist for Danny Ings. So, when you have that, you kind of have that second nature when you're playing with each other. You know where you're going to be. So playing consistently together only improves that.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure Danny Ings will be up there trying to hunt down the golden boot once more. Just a word on Everton. Their second red card in 2 games. Luca Dean got sent off for it wasn't really a stamp, kind of trod on the ankle of Kyle Walker-Peters. Do you think that was a fair red card?
There's a bit of mixed opinion on this, but I think it was, if I'm honest, because he had a little nibble at Kyle Walker-Peters to start with, and then he was off balance. I get that he was stretching, he was tired towards the end of the game, but I just don't think there's any need for that in the game. I was a player that liked to tackle, I liked being competitive, I love that side of football, but I think it was just a lazy tackle to just stop Kyle Walker-Peters getting away from him. And that could be dangerous. So I think it was a straight red, but I can see why people are arguing with it that it isn't.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. I mean, VAR obviously checked it and agreed with that. I don't want to talk about VAR too much because you have enough of that, don't you? But just going to another game over on the weekend, Chelsea versus Manchester United, 0-0, absolute washout of a game. VAR didn't give a penalty on Maguire for the incident with Azpilicueta. Do you think that was the correct decision? Because it certainly looked like a real wrestling match between the two players there.
Well, Maguire took a big risk. I think if you put your hands on any player in the box, you always run the risk of giving a penalty away. And you're looking at it, especially with VAR, I'm surprised they didn't give the penalty. It was a little bit over the top, a little bit aggressive. And in my opinion, it was a penalty. So I think they've got away with one there. Probably due a little bit of luck, Manchester United are. But, it wasn't, like you say, it wasn't the most entertaining game. And I think games like that, the big games in the Premier League, they miss the fans especially. I think they can really get the atmosphere up. They can increase that intensity. So, yes, not the best game, but he did run the risk, and I'm surprised it wasn't given as a penalty.
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk about VAR again because it's how I've landed up in my questions here. But just going back to one of yesterday's games, the Arsenal game specifically, we saw Lacazette have a goal ruled out where Xhaka was deemed to be in an offside position. Now, he was ahead of the final defender, between the goalkeeper and the final defender, so he was in an offside position, but he wasn't necessarily interfering with play because he didn't blind the goalkeeper or anything like that. Again, do you think that's one which the officials have got wrong?
I think they have. I'm a Leicester fan and I want Leicester to win, so it's a good decision for that, but I think they probably did get it wrong. He is in an offside position. Did he really affect Kasper Schmeichel? Would have Kasper saved the ball going in the net? I don't think he would have done. Was he in line of him? No, I think he was behind him. Was there initial contact? Yes, but as the ball was played, so you could argue the case that he did affect him, but I don't think he did. I think Leicester have got away with one there. And it's interesting to see how VAR come up with these decisions, because they get time to look at it. They're experienced people looking at it, but again, we talk about it, it still comes down to one person's opinion. They're not at the game, they're looking at the screen, so they get it in slow-mo, different angles, and I was surprised at that one. But I think, like a lot of football fans, don't quite understand the rules as much as we probably should. yeah,
no, definitely agree with that. So just a quick word on Jamie Vardy as well. Obviously, you played with him at Leicester. He scored the winning goal yesterday in the capital. What was it quite like being on the same side as him and training with him every single day? Could you deal with him on the training pitch?
Well, it was brilliant being on the same side of him. I didn't like training against him, must admit. He's a bit of a freak, Jamie. Brilliant player, fit and strong, lean as anything, quick as anything, and love playing with him. He would run for you. Brilliant team player, really nice person as well. And he's an excellent finisher. He's a natural finisher. I don't think he quite gets the credit. He's scored a lot of goals, he has now, but he is a natural finisher off both feet, and he's very calm and composed in them situations when he goes through one-on-one. But yeah, training, I wouldn't say he was the best trainer in the world.
Right, okay.
He trained when he wanted to and turned up when he wanted to, but he saved it for the match days, and that's the most important thing. So I'd have him on my side every day of the week. One of the best players I played with. It's a pleasure to call a friend, and a really good player.
Brilliant. Well, I'm sure plenty more goals will come from Jamie Vardy this season and many into the future as well. Well, after this game down here on the south coast, we're going all the way up to the northwest for Burnley versus Tottenham, and we caught up with Sean Dyche and Jose Mourinho before today's game.
Well, we certainly didn't look to rattle anyone, only with good play and effective play, so that's what we're looking to do again, play effectively, play a style that can be awkward and hard for them to get a grip on. And equally, you've got to deal with them. They're in good form, they've got top players, we know that. But we have come across them before and given a good performance level and affected the game and got things from the game. We're going to have to do that again, obviously, because they've got some, what I think are really top players, and one of the top probably in the country with Harry Kane, who he's showing once again not just his goals, but he can make a goal as well. So it's not about individuals, and I don't think he's the professional who thinks he is an individual. He knows there's a team around him, but I still think he's a top player.
You will feel how strong they are when by March, April, where lots of teams will be fighting for a relegation, they will be already saved. They will be already 8, 9, 10 comfortable in the table. This is Burnley. So the fact that they have only one point in this moment, they have one match less, and the fact that they had only one point doesn't tell me much. Burnley is Burnley. The way they play, the players they have, their style of play, the manager, nothing changed there. It's always difficult, and it's going to be difficult.
Well, Burnley versus Tottenham is the late kick-off this evening on Premier League Live. James Fielden and Kevin Watson will have full 90-minute commentary for you a little bit later on after our game here down at the Amex. So, Dean, just a quick word on the game later on. Surely Son and Kane are going to be the two players on everybody's lips. Are they going to find it hard today against Burnley?
Well, they will find it hard. I think any team that goes to Burnley finds it difficult, because it's a difficult place to go because of the way they play, the physicality they have, the direct approach they have, and they're not quite started the season the way that they wanted this season. They've had a lot of injuries, which has really not helped them. But no, Tottenham are a free scoring this season. They've scored a lot of goals, which surprised me. For a Jose Mourinho team, pretty always well structured, always well drilled, but they've scored a lot of goals. So, if you want to go to Burnley, this is a good time, because they're not at their best and it's a difficult place to go. So Tottenham will be happy with that. But with Chris Woods and Ashley Barnes up front, they're always going to get a chance and the physical presence. So it could be interesting if Burnley go ahead, but if Tottenham go ahead, I think there'll only be one winner. Yeah, I think we know what Burnley to expect. Who knows what kind of Tottenham are going to turn up? Well, we need to focus on this game first. Brighton versus West Bromwich Albion. We had a chat to Graham Potter and Slaven Bilic before today's game.
Overall performances have been good, but like you say, you have to get points. We know that. We know we're in the competition to do that, and we're trying as hard as we can. We'll keep improving, I'm pretty sure, and that's where the work is. You've got to try and turn those fine margins into results, and that's what we have to do. And then Danny coming in, I think, is a great acquisition for us in terms of as a footballer and a person around the place. He's got a fantastic experience already. Works for the team, wants to help the team, sacrifices himself for the team, so I think he'll be a good person for our young players, and also he'll be able to contribute on the pitch.
We are not obsessed in the thing like, or nothing will change after our first win. Hopefully it's going to come very soon, but that win is important because it changes the mood, it gives you the confidence for every team, also for Burnley, also for whoever. For Liverpool, it's good to win. It's always gives you. There's nothing wrong in winning the games, But especially it's important for the first game, for the first win in the season for a team that got promoted, because then it can help you. It can help your confidence going even more high because we didn't do it. We don't have that experience from last season. We have that experience, but from the Championship, from one level below. So that's why it is very important for us. But are we obsessed in a negative way? No, we are not.
Well, a big game for both teams here on Premier League Live at the Amex Stadium. Brighton and West Brom is just about 6 minutes or so away from kick-off. Just a reminder that it is 16th versus 17th in the Premier League table. Both these sides have struggled for results. Brighton with only one win under their belt. That came in the earlier on in the season, with West Brom just struggling. However, we'll find out the results of today's game very soon. This is Premier League Live. Stadium, Brighton and West Brom.
Get ready and hold on tight, because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track and who'll go off the rails? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football, plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
I was never good at spelling. I could read just fine, but I would be afraid if anybody asked me to do anything involving spelling. But since doing the course, all that has changed. I am braver. In fact, I feel braver than ever now. You're never too old to learn. Never.
If reading, writing, maths or technology is holding you back, take the first step. Free phone 1-800-2020-65 or text LEARN to 550 to see how we can help. This free and confidential service is supported by your local ETB, Solis and Nala.
Create the Premier League atmosphere at home with Harvey Norman, the home of the big screen. Feel like you're on the pitch with our stunning range of 4K smart LED and OLED TVs from LG, starting from just $449. Plus, hear every kick, save, tackle, decision with LG's best-in-class soundbars. Get TV ready for all the big games with Harvey Norman. Shop online today or safely in our spacious stores. Harvey Norman, home of the big screen.
Go! Demanding a high performance from your team? You should be demanding the same from your tires. The Irish Tire Industry Association is urging motorists to stay safe this winter and check the condition of your tires. You could even be liable for a fine and 2 penalty points if found driving with tires below the legal tread depth limit of 1.6 millimeters. ITIA expert technicians will carry out a free tire safety check to ensure your tires are safe and legal. Visit itia.ie to find your local expert.
As darkness sweeps around the globe at 8 p.m. on the 18th of November, 25,000 people worldwide will pull their running shoes on to hit the road for a virtual 5 or 10k at Run in the Dark. I'm Mark Pollock, and by joining us to Run in the Dark this November, you'll be supporting the Mark Pollock Trust and our charity partner Collaborative Cures, whose mission it is to cure paralysis in our lifetime. Register now at runinthedark.org and get your medal, your flashing armband, and your Run in the Dark virtual timing app. Thank you.
At Paddy Power, we know competition for the remote control can be fierce at the weekends. So in order to give the non-football loving occupants of your house something to do, here are some of our top suggestions. Go for a walk. Walk the dog. Go cycling. Cycle the dog. Recycle the dog. Just go! All very good options, we say. And that's not the only one. If one leg of your 4+ fold ACCA lets you down, get a free bet on all football leagues and markets. Paddy Power. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes shop bets. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
Well, welcome back to the south coast of England for Premier League Live between the battle of the Albions. Brighton and Hove Albion versus West Bromwich Albion. My name's Richard Wolfenden and I'm joined by Dean Hammond on the co-commentary, the former Brighton and Leicester midfielder. The two sides are now down on the turf, ready for kick-off, which gives me just enough time, I think, to read out the two sides starting 11 before the referee, Jonathan Moss, blows his whistle. The home side line up with Matt Ryan in goal. In front of him, 3 centre-backs, Dan Burn, Adam Webster and Joel Veltman making his first Premier League start after signing from Ajax in the summer. Solly March and Tariq Lamptey will be the 2 full-backs, with Yves Bissouma and Ben White in the holding role, with the front 3 of Adam Lallana, Leandro Trossard and Neil Maupay, the top scorer for Brighton and Hove Albion this season. 4 goals in 4 so far in the Premier League for him. West Bromwich Albion, Slaven Bilic's side has Sam Johnston in goal, as always, making his 100th appearance for West Bromwich Albion today in all competitions. That is, in front of him, a back 4, Conor Townsend at left back, with Branislav Ivanovic and Semi Ajayi at centre back, Darnell Furlong in right back, making up that back 4. Jake Livermore has the holding role, the West Bromwich Albion captain, with Conor Gallagher, Filip Krovinovic just ahead of him, with Mateus Pereira, the Brazilian, and the summer signing from West Ham, Grady Diangana, on the other side, with Carlin Grant leading the line, chosen ahead of Callum Robinson today. Well, Dean Hammond, who needs to get off to a fast start here?
Well, I think it'll be Brighton. They need to set the tempo. They like control possession in their own half, but once they get in the opposition's half, the 3 forwards, the 2 number 10s, the striker, they need to combine well. 1-2 touches, movement, get the ball wide, and try and get the ball in the box and cause West Brom some problems. Who will keep a good shape, the 4-1-4-1 formation, probably going to try and play on the break and get or come for a draw. So it's down to Brighton to set the tempo and set the pace and try and get an early goal to open the game up.
Yeah, I mean, who do you think is going to be the key player attacking wise for Brighton?
Well, Adam Lallana, I played with Adam at Southampton. He's an excellent player. If they can keep him fit and keep him strong, he's a player that can really open up a defence. He's both-footed, he's tricky, he's creative. So I look forward to seeing him playing in his advanced role, because he had been playing a little bit deeper. So if he can perform well, they've got an excellent player on their hands. Yeah,
and they've got Neil Maupay, of course, leading the line, who I'm sure he'll be trying to find as both sides take a knee before kick-off, before Brighton get us underway, playing in their blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks, going from left to right, with West Bromwich Albion in their very interesting, shall we say, traditional green and yellow kit. And it's Brighton who've started on the front foot down the left-hand side. Dan Burn, the left of the back 3 for Brighton today, and it seems as if Veltman's going to be the middle one of those back 3, with Webster on the right, the man wearing the armband in place of the suspended Lewis Dunk today for Brighton. And is that important, do you think, for any side playing with a back 3, that the 2 wide centre halves are better with the ball at their feet?
Yeah, it's really important, because they can get in advanced positions, they can travel forward with the ball, can play into midfield, can carry the ball into midfield. So every Brighton player on that pitch will be comfortable in possession, because that's what Graham Potter encourages, and that's what he wants his players to do. So all 3 of them, I would say, need to be really, really comfortable and confident in possession, because they start the moves for Brighton on a regular basis.
Well, it's Brighton with possession now. Burn controls it with his left thigh on the halfway line, receiving the throw-in from Solly March. You had just a bit of a word with Mateus Pereira on the West Bromwich Albion right-hand side. Nothing too much in it. Here's Bissouma, a bit of a coming together in midfield with Krovinovic early on. Nothing much in it, but given away by Veltman. Not the best first pass for the man in his Brighton colours today. Here's Darnell Furlong, the right back. First time West Brom have got the ball. 1.5 minutes played, 0-0 between Brighton Hove Albion and West Bromwich Albion on Premier League Live. It's Townsend trying to get away from Lamptey, but He loses it, and Lamptey wins it back, and now Maupay can run forward. He's got support in the form of Trossard, but the two of them not quite on the same wavelength there on this occasion, Dean Hammond.
Yeah, there just seemed to be a few misplaced passes early on, but a good break, good move, nicked the ball in the middle of the field, broke with pace, and just tried to slip the ball through, and potentially, if it was a striker, could have got a shot away. But good signs for Brighton early on.
But it's West Brom on the attack at the moment. It's out wide with Townsend, who's progressed up that left-hand side. Diangana comes deep for it. Diangana switching out wide, back to Townsend. Townsend back into the middle. Kravinovic plays it forward. Might be a chance for a shot at goal here. It's a curling effort, but Ryan down to his left-hand side stops Kravinovic from a good 25 yards. But the first attempt on goal this evening comes from the visitors.
Yeah, it was an excellent pass by Diangana outside of his boot. A good strike there, tested Ryan to start with, coming off the slippery surface. So I think we're going to see a few shots from distance tonight. But a good attack by West Brom that'll give them confidence going on into the game.
Yeah, well, it's Kravinovic who's looking for his first Premier League goal with the first effort there. It was a difficult one for Matt Ryan to save that, bouncing in front of him.
It was. You don't want to save like that early on. He made a good save, so it'll build his confidence. But that's what you want. You want that ball slipping off that surface to challenge the goalkeeper and test him. But good hands, kept hold of the ball, and an excellent save.
Yeah, that'll certainly fill the Brighton defence full of confidence, seeing the goalkeeper save a difficult attempt like that and holding on to it as well, which is the most important thing. Always strikers lurking in Premier League games as West Brom have a free kick just inside the Brighton half on the West Bromwich Albion left. Just a trip on Diangana, who's surrounded by two blue shirts. Here's Semi Ajayi on the left side of the centre-back pairing. Ivanovic on the right-hand side, who I think back in his Chelsea days played at right-back quite a few times, so I'm sure he's quite confident with the ball at his feet. 36 years of age now as the former Chelsea man. Incidentally won the double with Zenit St. Petersburg last season, the League and Cup double. Unfortunately, he did have the egg on his face moment where he dropped the Russian Cup, would you believe that? Here's Lamptey into the box, headed away by Semi Ajayi at the near post. There's a tussle between Diangana and I think it was Ben White. It was White who won the header, and Brighton Hove Albion who keep the ball at the feet. Here's Veltman, good pass forward, that into Lallana. He's got space for Trossard on the left. There's an overlapping fullback and it's spotted. Out wide it goes. It's March on the left foot, loops it in towards the penalty spot, headed up into the air by Furlong, and then Ajayi away. But there's a foul from Neil Maupay on Ajayi. It seemed like a little bit of a soft one, that.
It did, but it was a great pass by Veltman. Just found Anna Milana in that pocket, completely missed out West Brom's midfield, got the ball wide, got a ball in the box. So we've talked about the benefits of having ball playing centre halves, and that just demonstrated their excellent passing to Adam, who got half turned in the pocket and got the ball wide. So I think that will be what Brighton will be trying to do tonight, miss out that West Brom midfield when they try and press high up the pitch.
Yeah, well, we've just seen the replay of the free kick Maupay conceded. He was the meat in the sandwich of two huge West Brom defenders, but today's referee, Jonathan Moss, deemed that it was a foul by Maupay, so I'm sure there won't be too many light decisions going that way in this game, as Brighton have it. 5 minutes gone, still 0-0 on Premier League Live. The only attempt so far coming from West Brom, the Benfica loanee Kravinovic having a shot from 25 yards or so, but Brighton do seem the more confident on the ball. Here's Dan Burn gliding across the wet surface here in Brighton. Here's Solly March, left-footed, tries to switch the play but can't find Lamptey. It's easily intercepted by Townsend. Now Diangana, now Kravinovic gets it back, this time in the Brighton half. Heavy touch from Diangana, but he still has it. He's got lots of players around him. White's in front of him. Kravinovic gets it from him, and then it's Ben White who eventually gets a toe in ahead of Diangana and wins it back. Maybe just needed to release it a little bit earlier on that occasion, Diangana.
He did. It was a nice...
now down the left-hand side, here's Neil Maupay. The flag stays down. The flag goes up eventually. Sorry to cut you off there, Dean.
No problem at all. It was good play from West Brom. Some nice touches, some good combinations, but just need to release it a little bit earlier. But Brighton almost got in there. Excellent movement by Maupay. We know he's got that in the locker, and he'll need to run in behind tonight to spread that and stretch that West Brom defence.
Yeah, well, maybe the next time he just needs to go a little bit earlier, or the pass needs to come a little bit sooner. But Neil Maupay has got the pace that can get back in behind that West Bromwich Albion defence when they are sitting quite deep, this West Brom back line, maybe to prevent the pace of Trossard and Maupay and the like from getting in behind. There's a foot race between Maupay and Semi Ajayi as he outmuscles the Frenchman. Guides it back to Johnson, who just puts his foot through it. Manages to find Ian Garner, who does brilliantly well to keep it in and play it inside to Kravinovic. And it's a good little bit of play there in the midfield from West Brom. Here's Livermore, midway inside the West Brom half. This is the first time we've really seen West Brom pass it around their back line as Furlong chucks it down the right channel, and there's a run on here for Gallagher. Got Basuma for company. Gallagher goes down under pressure from Basuma, right under the nose of the linesman, and the linesman keeps his flag down as it just bobbles behind for a goal kick. Townsend asking for the decision. Didn't come his way that time. Well, there was a bit of a coming together between Basuma and Townsend, but certainly nothing illegal from the man in the blue number 8. That's the first time we've really seen Gallagher advance beyond the halfway line for Brighton. Kravinovic has had one pop already. I'm sure he'd might have another one soon enough. Here's Dan Burn, heads the ball backwards from the goal kick. I'm not sure that's where it was intended to go, but thankfully his centre back teammate Veltman was there to help him out. Here's Webster, the captain for Brighton today, as he plays it long over the top for Mope. Brings it down at the sky brilliantly with his left foot. I think he controlled it with his nose as well, but he's still got it. He's then shoved over by Ivanovic. The referee points to his shoulder, but does pull it back for a free kick. Ivanovic just showing a bit too much enthusiasm into the back of Neil Mope there.
I mean, what a touch. You're right there, Richard. Brilliant ball forward. Great touch, bringing that out of the air and turn. And yeah, just a little bit over aggressive there, probably just letting him know that he's going to be in the game tonight. But a good position for Brighton. Covered the game when they played Everton, and they didn't get the ball in the box quite as much as they could have done from set pieces. Tried to play short all the time, so I'd like to see them deliver the ball in the box. They're a big team. They've got some big centre halves, especially them 3 centre halves. So it'd be nice to see them getting the ball in the box nice and early and test the West Brom defence.
Well, all 3 of the centre backs are up there. Webster, Veltman, Byrne, Ben White's in there as well. He's a big lad, but West Brom aren't a short team. Be interesting to see what comes of this. Trossard stands over it, as does March. But it's Trossard who takes it right-footed towards the back post, headed up into the air by Townsend, not away. Second ball is won by Furlong. Kravinovic will try and keep it in, but can't do so, and it's a throw-in for Brighton on their right-hand side, about 10 yards or so away from the corner flag. It was a decent ball in, but maybe not enough whip. Tariq Lamptey has come forward to take this throw, and he's been one of the standout players for Brighton so far this season, even though he did give away a penalty last weekend against Palace. His throw-in goes to nobody in blue, though. Here's Kravinovic, plays it forward down the line. He jumps to the floor with a big scream, but there didn't seem to be any contact, as Matt Ryan's got a difficult one to control here. He controls it on his chest and volleys it away. How about that for a back pass from your captain?
I don't think you need that early on, but what a touch from the goalkeeper. Very confident, I must admit, because any mistake there could have cost him. But yeah, brilliant touch.
Yeah, bringing it down from the night sky on his chest. Confident outfield play from Ryan as Townsend comes down the left-hand side for West Brom. He is forced back to Livermore, who's midway inside this Brighton half. Here's was a slip from Pereira. Now Dean Garner is turned away from Lamptey, and it's been pulled up for a Brighton free kick there just outside the penalty area, and there's all the shouting and screaming you could hear was from the West Bromwich Albion bench. What did you make of that, Dean?
I think that Brighton got away with a little bit lucky there. Lamptey tried to win the ball, tried to be aggressive on the front foot and win it in front, and the West Brom player just used his body really, really well. Got behind a good cross and a good finish, so lucky there for Brighton, I think.
The ball's been in the net, but no need for VAR on that one. No goals, still 0-0, 11 minutes played. Here's Lamptey down the right-hand side now for Brighton. He's running at Townsend, he's thinking about the cross. He's stood on the ball, unfortunately, for Tariq Lamptey. Still got it, though. Goes inside to White, who runs into the penalty area. It's still Ben White in the penalty area, but Semi Ajayi shows great strength just to outmuscle Ben White as he was just about to cross the ball across the ground. Semi Ajayi coming to West Bromwich Albion's rescue there.
Well, it was a great drive forward by Ben White. Good feet, driving into the box, but great experience from the centre half there, just using his body, using his muscles. And Ben White, his first season at Brighton, in the first team, just getting introduced to some man strength there, I would say.
Yeah, Premier League life. Ben White, welcome to it. Here is Ben White in possession. He's got a bit of a muddy shirt now after that tussle with Ajayi. I'm sure the kit man will be very welcome of that. Here's Matt Ryan under pressure from Pereira as he boots it long. It's flicked on in the middle by Kravinovic and almost helped out Mopé, but Semi Ajayi was across to it first. Here's Livermore now, just inside his own half, plays it forward to Townsend. That's a good pass. Townsend allowed to turn, right-footed, and it's picking up water, the pitch here, but West Brom still have it. And the ball is over the top from Pereira. The running behind is from Diangana, controls it left-footed. His touch takes him wide. He's still got possession though, Diangana. Needs support in yellow and green as the shot comes in from Furlong. And it's a disappointing effort way over the top of Matt Ryan's bar. But that was a decent, if there was a better first touch there from Diangana, could have been a better chance.
It really was, and it's excellent play by West Brom. They surprised me. They're passing the ball really well. They're patient, excellent through ball. Really good run across the line, getting them behind. The Brighton defenders need to be aware of that, and you're right, if he'd had a better touch, he was in on goal there, but a really good pass and a good move by West Brom.
Yeah, I mean, it was a difficult one to control for Diangana. It was coming down over his shoulder. He did manage to control it with his left foot, but it just bounced down onto his knee and then went out to the right hand side, which kind of narrowed the angle so he couldn't quite get his shot away. And then the follow-up shot from Furlong went absolutely flying over the crossbar.
I think there you're always aware that the keeper could come out and clatter you, and it could be a hard challenge, so you're always a little bit wary. But a really good run, really intelligent run across the line, getting them behind, so Brighton need to be aware of that.
Yeah, it's Pereira and Diangana who are the wide men today for West Brom, although I've seen Pereira actually popping up in quite a few narrow positions. Diangana certainly seems to be the one who's playing out wide more. Pereira, who's won the throw in here, or is going to take the throw in, but I think he's being told by Furlong you can just pick up his voice on the microphone to say leave it, but Pereira ignores him, takes the throw in himself. Here's Ivanovic now, right-footed, goes inside to Pereira on the halfway line. He's got Kravinovic on the left, he's got Townsend on the left. Here is Townsend, flicks over the top for Kravinovic. A very fluid kind of operation so far from West Bromwich Albion. Here's Townsend, could have played it to Livermore, asked him why he didn't. Instead he went back to Semi Ajayi, and Ajayi plays a risky pass and it's picked up by Dan Burn, advancing from centre-back. Here's Basuma, out wide now to Solly March, looking for movement. Mopé wants it. Brighton a little bit more static than their manager Graham Potter would like, but they do have possession. Everybody in yellow and green back in their own half at the moment. Here's Basuma in the centre circle under pressure from Townsend, gets it back from Byrne. Here is Basuma, scored an absolute wonder goal against Everton, and shame it was just a consolation for the Mali midfielders. The ball gets played out wide for Lamptey. There's nobody on the West Bromwich Albion left. Lamptey swings it into the penalty area. Ivanovic flaps at it, gets rid, and then Townsend helps it away a little bit further, but where on earth was the left side of the West Bromwich Albion defence? They come forward once more. Lallana back out wide to Lamptey, thought about the cross, instead did a clever Cruyff turn and came back infield. Here's Trossard, can he get a shot away? Lallana loops it towards the post for Mopé on the volley, hammers it into the back of the net, but Mopé is a yard or so offside, and that goal will not count. VAR will check it, but it looked offside to me, Dean Hammond.
Yeah, it did look offside, but that is the quality of Adam Lallana. Just that pause, that extra touch, and that clever pass. It looks like he is offside there. Really good finish, but we talked about it before the game. You know, Adam Lallana has got that quality. We just takes that extra second, that extra touch, and can be creative with that excellent pass. But better from Brighton. It looked like they're trying to switch the play. You mentioned there, Richard, trying to get the ball out to Lamptey to get one-on-one against the fullback. So they've tried that a couple of times, and it looks like that's the way they're going to try and play tonight, to switch that play and isolate him one-on-one in the positions.
You know, the West Brom left back Townsend really did get suckered in to his centre half, Ajayi there, and Tariq Lamptey had so much space, probably the most space he's had all evening so far. 15 minutes gone, it's still 0-0 between Brighton and West Brom, and it's been a pretty even game so far.
It has, you're right, and West Brom have impressed me. They pass the ball well, they look comfortable in possession. Don't look like a team that haven't won a game this season, so they look like they've got some confidence. And Brighton have been hit and miss so far. A couple of good passes, a couple of possessions, a couple of phases, but no real chances as of yet. So pretty tight, pretty even game.
Yeah, we've just seen the shots of Lewis Dunk in the stands there. What's it like watching your team from the stands when you've been suspended or injured?
Yeah, it's not great when you know you're going to miss 3 games from suspension, and probably wasn't the most sensible tackle from Lewis as well. I mean, he loves playing football. I know Lewis well. He loves playing the game. He'll be missing it tonight and won't enjoy watching. But it'll be better for him if the team can win, but he'll be wanting to get back as soon as he possibly can.
Yeah, 3 points I'm sure he'll be delighted with if they manage to pick it up, as Mopé's got a little bit of a limp. I think he was just holding the inside of his left leg there. Don't know whether that was just a coming together or in a bit of a stretch that has caused him to limp. And then there's another player down injured. It's Furlong for West Brom. Just a coming together with Solly Marchu backed in to the West Brom right back, and it's a bit of a heavy fall for Darnell Furlong there.
Yeah, I think he's just winded himself in the challenge there, and then the fall hasn't helped, so maybe a double winding there, but just a clash on the tackle. Nothing in it, innocent tackle, but he'll be alright once he gathers his breath, I would have thought.
Yeah, in through the nose, out through the mouth. That's what the physio will be telling him. It's a bit of a whack for Furlong, who's impressed down the right hand side. I mean, I'm sure he won't want to see that effort he had about 7 or 8 minutes ago, which blazed over the top of the bar. But I think Slaven Bilic will be pretty happy with his side start so far. It's a Brighton throw-in. It's going to be taken by Solly March, who's operating as an left wing back this evening. Typically he's a bit more of an advanced player, but operating on that left hand side. They've only really got Bernardo, who's a recognised left back at the club for Brighton. He's on the bench today. There's actually quite a few attacking options on the bench for Brighton today. They decided to use them, but there's a man who started the game, Lallana, who gets in a proper clatter with Livermore. That's the kind of game Livermore plays. Lallana seems to be okay as West Brom come forward on the counter charge. It's Pereira down the left hand side for Grady Diangana, well stood up by the Brighton defender Webster. He's thought about passing it back to Ryan, and Diangana did well to pressure him and make the ball go out of play about 5 yards away from the corner flag for Brighton throwing on the right.
It's going to be interesting tonight, down Brighton's right side and West Brom's left side. I think that's where the most attacking threat's going to come from both teams, and they're good combinations. Like I say, West Brom look really comfortable in possession. I thought they'd be a little bit more direct than they have, but they're looking to outpass Brighton, and it'd take a good team to do that, but they're doing that so far tonight.
Yeah, do you think because Solly March is playing on the left that maybe they'd be a bit more wiser attacking down their right hand side, West Brom, because Tariq Lamptey is, he's a right back, isn't he really? Solly March definitely isn't a left back.
I think so. I think Solly, like you mentioned, Richard, is an attacking player. He wants to get forward, he wants to be on the ball, so I would try and get it out there and try and isolate him. He's not the best defender in the world, he can do a job. He's got Dan Burn behind him, who is a good defender, but yeah, I think you're right, attacking down Brighton's left hand side could be an opportunity for West Brom.
Yeah, definitely. Well, West Brom do have a free kick. Yves Bissouma just going in a little bit too hard on Mateus Pereira, who tried to do a clever little Brazilian pirouette about 40 yards from goal, and Bissouma thought he got the ball first, but I think he came through the West Brom number 12 first. Free kick is about 40 yards out, and just like Brighton did a moment or so ago with their free kick, they sent the big boys up. West Brom are doing that now. Semi Ajayi's up there. Ivanovic used to score a handful of goals back in the day for Chelsea. Sure, he'll be a target as he's shoved offside by Webster. The ball comes in towards Ivanovic, but it's way too close by Matt Ryan, and a rather disappointing free kick in the end for West Brom.
Yeah, it's always an opportunity, a free opportunity to get the ball in the box with quality, so they'll be disappointed with that. Both teams have got attacking threats, and an unfortunate delivery really, so they need to concentrate on that during the game, because it will be an opportunity for West Brom to score.
Yeah, well, here's a chance for Brighton to come forward. It's Solly March trying to get it onto his left foot, runs into trouble with Townsend dispossessing him, but the loose ball falls to Bissouma. He goes inside to White. Good first touch from White, but the second touch is poor, and that allows Townsend to nip in, win the ball, and Ben White brings him down. A good bit of cover work there from Townsend in midfield.
Yeah, it definitely was, and the three midfield players, especially Livermore, are going to have to do that tonight, especially as Brighton are kind of playing two number 10s, playing very narrow, so the full-backs can attack. So Livermore's going to have to cover a lot of ground. They're going to have to nick some balls and protect that back four.
Here's Kravinovic in the left-back position, switches it right-footed for Pereira. Brilliant chest down to Diangana on the left-hand side. He knocks it forward here. West Brom come forward with Grant, and it's a disappointing cross by Grant, who we've hardly mentioned in the early exchanges here. It's all been about Diangana and Pereira coming forward, but Grant just getting in behind, but probably too wide a position to get a shot away, so I think the cross was probably the right choice there.
I think it was. I think he wants to get on the end of a cross like that, but it was actually a decent cross in a decent area. Obviously no West Bromwich Albion players in there, but they put it into a dangerous area. Good movement from him, But like I say, he would probably like to get on that at the end of the cross himself.
Yeah, I mean, strikers tend to do that, don't they? They put the ball in they would have liked. Unfortunately, there's nobody there to finish off, because that's exactly where they should be, as Johnson thinks about letting the ball bounce behind, but opts instead to pick it up under pressure from Trossard. Here's Townsend, risky ball in field, but Livermore calmly brings it down, but the pass is behind Kravinovic, right to the feet of his manager on the touchline, Slaven Bilic, who's just trying to bide a little bit of time here and allow his side to get back into their shape. Brighton on the halfway line goes all the way back to Adam Webb, so the man who joined for £20 million, the record signing, of course, for Brighton. And he's now been given the captain's armband just a year since joining from Bristol City. Here's Bissouma, just inside the West Brom half, right-footed, switches the ball looking for Solly March, goes to Byrne, who's acting as that undercutting, or that underlapping centre-back, I should say. Out wide it goes to Lamptey, up against Townsend and Diangana, so he's forced back to White, who looks very confident in that defensive mid position, and you can see why Leeds were so confident of it. Well, really wanted to keep hold of him. Looks a decent player, Ben White is. They relinquish possession here, and West Brom come forward with Pereira up against Byrne down the West Brom right. Pereira plays it forward. Can it get there? No, it can't. It's intercepted by Lamptey as the switch came on for Kravinovic, but it's well intercepted by the young right back. And now it's Brighton's turn to come forward with Trossard. It's 3-on-4. Here comes Trossard, tries to play the ball through the middle to Lallana, into the penalty area to Mopé. Strong save from Johnston, diving down to his right, dangled out a leg and stopped the effort from Neil Mopé, and stopped Brighton taking the lead.
Wow, what a move, what a great move on a counter-attack with pace. Brilliant pass into Adam Lallana, great first touch, unselfish. I thought he was going to strike it himself, could have struck it, laid it onto Mopé. You just think he's going to slot it into the bottom hand corner, but good save. But that is Brighton to a T. Them three players combining at pace, at tempo like that, is where they're going to cause West Brom problems. But a really good save by the goalkeeper.
Yeah, and I mean, you spoke about Lallana, didn't you, before the game, about him being the danger man. He showed exactly what he can do for Brighton there. Brilliant bit of footwork from the former Liverpool man. As it stings over the top here for Trossard to chase, he's going to do well to keep it in. He does keep it in though, there's Trossard, and he's pulled it back to Solly March. He's got time to whip it in. Instead he goes back to Lallana, and a clever back heel to Bissouma was intercepted. Here is Lallana. Trossard needs movement, holds his hand up to say, where is it? Here's Bissouma, he loves a shot. He decides instead to play it into Mopé, who drops to the ground, asking for I think he's asking for a penalty, but that would have been a very, very soft one for Mopé, who moments ago probably should have given the home side the lead. Sam Johnson, you probably got to give him some credit there. Diving to his right, dangled his left leg out and stopped it.
Yeah, it was a good save. I think Mopé would be disappointed with himself. Getting in that position, he would back himself to score. Scored a few goals this season, but we'll go with the keeper made a good save. I don't think he quite connected it as he wished. Maybe surprised that Adam Lallana passed it to him. I thought he was going to strike it as well, but it was a clever pass. But it was a good save by the goalkeeper.
There's not been many opportunities in this game either. That's Brighton's first attempt at goal, in fact, with maybe 25 minutes on the clock. Still 0-0 on Premier League Live between the two Albions. As the ball goes forward, Byrne with a free header in ahead of Pereira. Here's Bissouma. Mopé in his own half. Right-footed, brilliant ball out wide to Lamptey, who gets there ahead of Diangana. He's got Lallana making a run ahead of him. He finds Lallana. He goes down in the penalty area under the tackle from Semi Ajayi. And I think once again you've got to give credit to the West Brom defender showing his strength there.
Excellent defending, used his body really well, read the run, read the pass, got across, and just put Adam Lallana under pressure. But again, Brighton switching the play, getting out to the right side to Lamptey, driving forward, good run by Adam Lallana. So, Brighton are getting in good positions, had that clear chance previously, so they're building up a bit of pressure now. Be interested to see if they deliver this ball into the box and can take an opportunity from a set piece.
Yeah, well, first corner of the game, I thought it was going to go behind for a goal kick, but it is a corner for Brighton. The big boys are up from the back. Burns up there being marked by Ajayi, Gallagher marking White as well. Lots of big men in the penalty area for both sides. Marcher's corner to looping one towards the back post, looking for Byrne. Still alive. Byrne hooks it back into the mix and it's away then by Townsend, scooping it up into the edge. Just going to stay in play, is it? I think Bissouma in a battle with Livermore. Bissouma watches it just roll out. West Brom slow to get out. And here they're shouting no walking. Here's Bissouma looking for an option. He's got Byrne down the line, he's got Webster back down the line. And here is Webster. Inside is Trossard. He plays it inside looking for White. Instead he finds March, and Lamptey picks up the pieces. Lamptey, West Brom deeper than they've been all game at the moment, inside their own penalty area. Eventually they've managed to push the ball all the way back to the Brighton defenders though. Webster in possession, out wide to Byrne down that left hand side. He's a temporary left back at the moment, Byrne. He plays it into Mopey under pressure from green and yellow shirts. White 20 yards inside his own half. Lallana gives it to Lamptey with a clever back heel, goes to ground under a challenge from Diangana. This is definitely one of the key battles this afternoon. Those two have been at it all game so far.
Two excellent players, and it will be a very good battle defensively and attacking for both of them, and really good players, both younger players, got a lot of ability, so it'll be interesting to see how that develops during the evening.
Yeah, they are flying up and down that Brighton right hand side, that West Brom left. Here is Lamptey up against Diangana again, and it's Diangana who shows his defensive capabilities there, preventing Lamptey from getting past, and eventually forces the ball all the way back to Trossard, who goes even further back to Webster, as every outfield player is currently in the visitors' half. But we're going to have time to regroup now, because the pass from Webster is way behind Solly March, who was on a slightly different wavelength there for a moment.
But yeah, that's what West Brom will do. Once they get into a formation, once they get into a structure, they look pretty solid. There's not many gaps in between. Brighton are going to have to play quick 1-2 passes, combinations between the front players. So, you know, Brighton have had opportunities when they've stolen the ball off West Brom when they've been in possession and broken them at pace. So it's going to be difficult to break West Brom down when they're in that formation deep into their own half.
Do you think with having Slaven Bilic as the manager, of course being a centre-back himself, do you think, you know, he can speak from experience rather than speaking from a coaching manual per se, as a former attacker or midfielder has now become a manager might have?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. You know, when you've got real life experience as a player, as a manager, and you can pass it on to younger players, that's the message you want, because you believe it and you trust it. He's been an excellent manager. He was a good manager of Croatia. Had done a very good job at West Ham. Was a little bit unfortunate there, and, you know, manager of West Brom and got them promoted. So he's definitely doing something right, and he understands the role now he's got at West Brom.
They've got to do some defending here, though. The ball comes in across the face of goal to Mopey, who steps on the ball in the 6-yard area. It's still alive as March tries to whip it in, but it's blocked at the near post and behind for a corner. But we saw Brighton break him forward quickly there, and all of a sudden in the 6-yard box the ball fell to the man in blue who you would want it to fall to. Neil Mopey just couldn't get the ball from out under his feet.
Yeah, it was a great play by Brighton. Really quick play down the left hand side. Good cross by Solly March. And Mopey, you know, that's his probably second, third chance of the evening. So he'll be disappointed with that. He was just slightly behind him. He tried to flick at it, but an excellent cross by Solly March. And another chance by Brighton. I think that's a difference at the moment why they're not winning games, because they're not quite taking these opportunities.
Yeah, well, they've got another opportunity now from the corner. As we approach half an hour, it's still 0-0 between Brighton and West Brom on Premier League Live. It's Trossard's corner towards the penalty spot. Up goes Webster. He misses it. It's away in the middle by Kravinovic as Lamptey knocks it back into the space, and now Ajay tries to start a West Brom counter, but it's intercepted by Veltman, and Brighton can recycle it. No, they can't, because they've given it away. It's out wide on the right with Diangana, who swaps sides momentarily, but he can't get any better. Byrne, who comes across to stop the signing from West Ham in the summer. But that chance for Neil Mopey, he'll be running through that over and over again in his head, disappointed with his finish.
He will be, because there's another opportunity. A really good run from him. He makes excellent runs. He's an intelligent striker. He's a striker that wants opportunities. So it's positive he's getting into them areas, but he will be disappointed, especially, you know, he's had his chance earlier that the keeper made a good save, and that one again, I think it was just slightly behind him and he tried to flick at it, but I think he knows he should have done better.
Yeah, well, that's two chances apiece now. Brighton have definitely grown into the game more, with West Brom doing most of the defending. Here's Lallana again, picking up that pass from his centre-back. Trossard, 25 yards from goal. Could have gone to March, opted instead onto his right foot and got the shot away, but it's straight down the throat of Sam Johnson, right at the goalkeeper, dressed all in pink for West Brom.
Good move by Brighton. That ball into Adam Lallana again, getting on the half-turn. And Trossard, you know, he's a good player. He gets into good position as well. Could have gone wide to Solly March to put the cross in. Good turn, good strike at goal. So again, Brighton are building a little bit of pressure up here.
Yeah, it really is. That ball through the defence, which is causing all the bother for West Brom. The man who's meant to be playing that holding role, Jake Livermore for West Brom, just getting caught out of place, getting sucked over out into a wide position one too many times. I'm sure both managers will have noticed that. Here's Ben White. Veltman, ball at his feet. The man who joined from Ajax in the summer goes to Bissouma, under pressure from Townsend, but he's managed to get away from the midfielder. Bissouma forward to Mope, who goes down under a challenge from Ajayi. No foul as it's scooped forward for Carlin Grant to chase, but again he can't get there because the defender Veltman is too fast for him. Now Webster asks for a ball into feet, doesn't see any option, so goes long. Ajayi beats Mope in the air with ease, but his header's given possession straight back to Brighton as the ball crosses the halfway line. Out wide is March. Nobody in green and yellow going to him. He's allowed to just stroll down the left hand side here. March is going all the way to the touchline. That was until the sliding challenge comes in from Furlong down the right hand side. But Solly March not really pressing with much pace or momentum, just able to get further down the field.
Well, you're right there. I think the more that we can get the ball out to Solly March, the more opportunities he's going to get. I don't think Vieira wants to get out there to him. He's playing a little bit more narrow than playing wide, so he's going to get that room. And he did travel the ball a long way there, and he has got a good delivery, so West Brom needs to be a little bit careful with that. But positive signs for Brighton if they can get the ball to him and get balls into the box at will.
Here is the ball into the box from the corner from Trossard towards the back post. The head goes up. It's Ajayi who manages to beat Ben White in the air. I think it was. No, it was Dan Burn, in fact, who went up for it, but it was the West Brom defender who got there ahead of him. Branislav Ivanovic marshalling that back line. Captain Zenit's that double last season, of course. Great experienced head on those shoulders. Premier League winner, of course. Champions League winner with Chelsea. Thrown here for Lamptey. And like Bissouma, his touch lets him down, but ball is still at the feet of the Malian midfielder. Still in play, I think, is it? Yeah, no, it's out now, and it's gone the way of West Brom. Bissouma's touch just letting him down on that occasion, and West Brom will get the throw in 25 yards from their own corner flag down their left hand side. 33.5 minutes gone between the two Albions, Brighton and Hove, and West Bromwich. It's still 0-0 on Premier League Live. Very few chances to shout about so far in this game, but there have been good chances for both sides. It was West Brom who had the first two of the game. Furlong with a strike over, Kravinovic testing Matt Ryan for the first and only time this evening. And then going forward, attacking wise, it's been more about Brighton than it has West Brom. Maybe not made as many chances or had as many attempts at goal as their manager would like, though, but there could be one for them here. It's given away by Ivanovic. Inside here is Trossard. There's Lallana out wide. Trossard might go alone from the edge of the box, gets a shot away. Good save into the air by Johnston, then punches away the second one. Well, it wasn't the greatest of saves, just saving up into the air, but Johnston there on hand to punch away the danger at the second time of asking.
Great strike by Trossard. He's got that confidence and he takes that responsibility when he wants a shot. Maybe could have slipped Adam Lallana in, but a good interception by Solly March, played it inside, and this is where Brighton will get opportunities when West Brom are sloppy, when they lose possession. But another good save by Sam Johnson, who's probably been West Brom's man of the match so far.
Yeah, I think that's 3 attempts on target now that have all been saved by the Vikings goalkeeper, dressed in an rather dashing pink outfit, shall we say.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah, certainly not going to go missing in the stadium today. Here's Townsend, plays the ball out wide to Furlong. He's got a lot of blue shirts in front of him though. Now Townsend under pressure from Trossard, manages to wriggle away from the Belgian and play a ball down the middle for Grant to chase, but he's beaten to it by Veltman. Not had a sniff so far this evening, Carlin Grant. Here's Bissouma, heavy touch ball. Manages to still play it out wide to March, inside to Trossard, who's just not being picked up by anybody in a West Brom shirt. Here's Mope out wide, that's not where Graham Potter wants him. Here's Byrne, back to Veltman, who hasn't put a foot wrong in the first 35 minutes of his first start in the Premier League. Looking for movement, Veltman instead goes across to his centre-back partner Webster, who plays that ball. Once again, Dean Hammond missing out the entire midfield, playing it into Mope's feet. They get away with this time though, West Brom. Here's Townsend. Kravinovic goes back to Townsend, who stumbles as he tries to set off the line on the wet surface here on the south coast. Well, I don't know what the weather's been like on the south coast over the past few days, but across most of England it's been absolutely lashing down. And before the game today, they had all the sprinklers on, so it certainly is a slick surface here at the Amex this evening. There's Kravinovic, the ball behind Grant, but it's pulled back for a trip on Townsend. Ben White just showing a little bit too much aggression on that occasion for Jonathan Moss. Slaven Bilic trying to manage his players, trying to get a bit more out of Townsend, who's not really offered too much to the side so far. Livermore is usually given the defensive responsibility for West Brom. Townsend not really done much going forward. Kravinovic seems to be the midfielder trying to make something happen. Here he is, out wide to Townsend. He's got Diangana ahead of him. He's got Webster for support now, the former West Ham man. It's a pass back to his teammate, which doesn't come off, but they do get the throw in. Lamptey knocking it out of play. Kravinovic, Townsend goes to swing it in. It's a swinging one towards the back post. Up goes Grant. Manages to keep it in play as the volley comes in from range. And once again, it's a very, very disappointing effort from Furlong, which I think has gone even further back in the stand than his earlier effort did.
Well, he's trying to find his range. There's 2 opportunities now, so hopefully his third one will be a little bit better. But he's taking the responsibility on of his shot. Obviously confident. He's getting forward as a fullback. Good cross by Townsend deep, and Grant almost got half a yard to get a header in. Probably his first opportunity, really. He's not had much of the ball tonight. But yeah, West Brom good possession there, built it up nice and slow, moved the ball a little bit quicker, but they've been under pressure from Brighton, who've been dominating in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, Darnell Furlong, it's his birthday on Saturday. He turns 25. What a way to celebrate your 25th birthday than a Premier League goal. That would be very welcome, I imagine. Incidentally, his dad, you may remember, Paul, scored in a match between QPR and Brighton all the way back in September 2004.
Wow.
So there's a great start for you.
Good player as well. Good player. Very good.
Yeah, here is Townsend. Decent ball down the right hand side. Claims of handball against March. Not given though. I think it was his arm was in a natural position. Thankfully we haven't had to call on VAR this evening yet. So plenty of time for that to happen, of course. 6 minutes of the first half of normal time remains here on the south coast. It's Brighton 0, West Brom 0 on Premier League Live. And I think Brighton have probably just edged the first 39 minutes as the ball goes down the right hand side for Mopé to chase, but it's intercepted by Townsend, who was across to head it out for a Brighton throw in front of Slaven Bilic, who's gone for the suit and trainers look. Certainly an interesting outfit for a Monday night in Brighton. Ball scooped away. Here's Bernhunger's arm pulled by Pereira, but doesn't distract him in any way. Pereira like a fly buzzing around Dan Burn, but Burns managed to carry the ball away into the midfield, away from 3 West Brom shirts. Good play from Dan Burn. Out wide now is Trossard, who's a bit behind the play, but he has the ball. He loops it in towards Lamptey, the back post, who knocks it down here for Lallana with the strike. It's blocked by Ajay. Lamptey for the rebound across the face of goal and deflected in as an own goal, and it's either Livermore or Ivanovic who turned it in, but proper chaos in the 6-yard box has led to Brighton getting the first goal of the evening.
Well, it all started from that brilliant play from Dan Burn in the middle of the pitch. Got the ball wide, diagonal ball, a header at the far post by Lamptey. Ball dropped to Lallana, probably not a clean strike. Comes back to him, hits the ball across the box, and both defenders, Ivanovic and Livermore, are trying to do the right thing. They're trying to defend, they're trying to protect their team and kind of just getting each other's way. So 1-0 to Brighton. I think they deserved it and they've edged it, and they've just put that extra bit of pressure on.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, you've got to say well done to Burn. We've also got to say well done to Lamptey, who got that ball across the 6-yard box where it just caused absolute chaos in that West Brom backline, and it is a Livermore own goal. It was Ivanovic who got there. I think Mopé was lurking behind Ivanovic, and unfortunately for the West Brom captain, Ivanovic threw the ball right into his chest and it rattled the back of the net, and it's Brighton that have the lead 1-0 with 5 minutes to go in the first half. You've got to feel sorry for Livermore there. Have you ever scored an own goal in that kind of situation, Dean?
Do you know what, Richard? I've scored an own goal definitely in that situation. I've scored an own goal in that goal as well for Brighton. And it was a lot worse than that, I must admit. It was a defensive diving header with no one around me. But we were 4-0 up at the time, so I got away with it.
Alright, well, we don't have to reminisce about your nightmares anymore. There's a yellow card here for Tariq Lamptey for a flying challenge, and I think it was who was on? It was Kravinovic. He really just threw his body into Kravinovic right under the nose of the fourth official, and Slaven Bilic, who didn't even flinch when that tackle happened right in front of him. And it's the first yellow card of the game. It goes the way of the Brighton right back, Tariq Lamptey. Fair yellow card, don't you think?
Yeah, I think just a little bit late, a little bit aggressive. But yeah, definitely a yellow card, and the first one of the night. And not been too many hard tackles tonight, but yeah, warranted a yellow card, that one.
For sure. Here's Furlong, the man who's had most of West Brom's attempts so far this evening. He goes inside to Pereira, who's operating a lot deeper than what I thought he was before the game. Here's Townsend down the left-hand side for West Brom, throws it backwards to Kravinovic. Here is Pereira into Kravinovic, thinks about the shot, 20 yards from goal, across to Townsend, goes across one more to Furlong, heavy touch from him, but he manages to lay it off to Pereira, 30 yards from goal, left foot sprays it out wide to the left-hand side, rather disappointingly from the Brazilian, because it was nowhere near Townsend.
Yeah, good build-up play by West Brom. You know, a little bit more comfortable, responded well since the goal went in. But yeah, a wayward pass there, and you expect better from a player of his quality. So he'll be disappointed with that. Obviously, there's some movement from a player off the ball that he didn't see.
Yeah, well, they paid £20 million for him. Mateus Pereira was on loan last season from Sporting Lisbon. Since joining, he's been involved with nine goals and 18 assists. He certainly loves getting the ball into the box, Pereira. Couldn't find Townsend on that occasion, though. There's Townsend, clever turn from him to get away from Bissouma. Here's Kravinovic, who waited a little bit too long, allowed Lamptey to nip in there and win possession back. Livermore, the scorer of the own goal in this game for West Brom, which gives Brighton the lead. Here's Townsend. Here's Diangana. He's got the overlapping run of Townsend, which is tracked by Lamptey. Kravinovic, the midfielder. Out wide now is Diangana, trying to get past Webster, and Webster brilliant defending there to show his strength and get the positioning right as it breaks into the penalty area. Lallana's back there defending, and no nonsense from Adam Lallana in his own penalty area. He just knocks it out for a throw-in by the corner flag.
Yeah, good decision. I think he wanted to pass it back to the goalkeeper or pass it to a defender, but you know, coming towards the end of the first half, the 1-0 up, excellent decision, showed his experience there.
Yeah, here come West Brom. Diangana, good footwork to get away from White. He has to go backwards though, very little movement in green and yellow. Here's Ivanovic. Now Pereira. He's pretty much a right back at the moment. He goes inside to Livermore, whose touch lets him down, but there's a slip at the back and it almost allowed West Brom to benefit, but Brighton with a bit of defending to do here at the end of the first half.
Yeah, they're under a little bit of pressure now from West Brom since they've scored. Brighton have probably dropped deeper, trying to protect that lead just going into the end of the half. So just need to stay switched on, keeping that compact shape and see out the first half.
Here's West Brom's push. We're about 30 seconds or so away from the fourth official lifting his board up. Here's Livermore crossing the halfway line with possession for West Brom. Rather unfortunate with that own goal, gives it to his midfield partner Gallagher, a man who had two loan spells last season, one with Swansea and one with Charlton. Now starting in the Premier League, he'll be absolutely delighted with how his career's progressed. Here's Diangana, tries a 1-2 with Townsend. Lallana switched off. Townsend across the face of goal into the middle looking for Kravinovic. Byrne was closest to him. Diangana keeps it in, 10 yards from the corner flag. Diangana down the left hand side for West Brom. Kravinovic is only one West Brom player in the penalty area, not rushing to get players forward at the end of this first half. Here's Ivanovic inside looking for Townsend. 1 minute added on here on the south coast. No foul on Townsend, and this could be an opportunity for Brighton to bring play out. Trossard crosses the halfway line. He's only got options on his left. He's looking for an option on the right. Eventually Lallana arrives, but instead goes back to Bissouma. He'll bring it forward now. Trossard out on the left, Mopé and Lallana in the middle. Lallana gets it, leaves it for Mopé, tries a clever 1-2, but just not enough meat on the bones of that pass from Neil Mopé, and West Brom are allowed to clear with Ivanovic. And now Diangana. Townsend back to Livermore just outside his own penalty area. Connor Townsend inside for Carlin Grant, who's hardly had a touch of the ball this evening so far. He'll be looking to get involved more in the second half. He's got the ball in his own half at the moment. Furlong, the right back, who's had most opportunities for West Brom this evening. Well, there's the half-time whistle at the Amex Stadium. Jonathan Moss brings an end to a pretty even first half. I'd say Brighton have just about edged it, but it's the own goal from Jake Livermore that separates the two sides. Would you say Brighton deserved that lead at half-time, Dean?
Yeah, I think you're right, Richard. I think they just edged it. I think possession stats were pretty similar. West Brom have impressed me in that department. Brighton have had the better chances, the more clear-cut chances, so probably just deserved to go ahead. Maupay has two really good chances that he probably should have scored from, and he'll know he should have scored from. So Brighton have just edged it, but the game has played out as we probably expected. Lots of possession, a lot of good passing, but not a array of chances at either end.
Yeah, Brighton just shown a little bit more intent. The score here at the Amex Stadium is Brighton 1, West Bromwich Albion 0 at half-time. This is Premier League Live.
Get ready and hold on tight, because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track, and who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews, and opinions from the biggest names in football. Plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
I was never good at spelling. I could read just fine, but I would be afraid if anybody asked me to do anything involving spelling. But since doing the course, all that has changed. I am braver. In fact, I feel braver than ever now. You know, you're never too old to learn. Never.
If reading, writing, maths or technology is holding you back, take the first step. Free phone 1-800-2020-65 or text LEARN to 550 to see how we can help. This free and confidential service is supported by your local ETB, Solis and Nala.
Create the Premier League atmosphere at home with Harvey Norman, the home of the big screen. Feel like you're on the pitch with our stunning range of 4K smart LED and OLED TVs from LG, starting from just $449. Plus, hear every kick, save, tackle, decision with LG's best-in-class soundbars. Get TV ready for all the big games with Harvey Norman. Shop online today or safely in our spacious stores. Harvey Norman, home of the big screen.
Go! Demanding a high performance from your team? You should be demanding the same from your tires. The Irish Tyre Industry Association is urging motorists to stay safe this winter and check the condition of your tyres. You could even be liable for a fine and 2 penalty points if found driving with tyres below the legal tread depth limit of 1.6 millimeters. ITIA expert technicians will carry out a free tyre safety check to ensure your tyres are safe and legal. Visit itia.ie to find your local expert.
As darkness sweeps around the globe at 8 p.m. on the 18th of November, 25,000 people worldwide will pull their running shoes on to hit the road for a virtual 5 or 10k at Run in the Dark. I'm Mark Pollock, and by joining us to Run in the Dark this November, you'll be supporting the Mark Pollock Trust and our charity partner Collaborative Cures, whose mission it is to cure paralysis in our lifetime. Register now at runinthedark.org and get your medal, your flashing armband, and your Run in the Dark virtual timing app. Thank you.
At Paddy Power, we know competition for the remote control can be fierce at the weekends. So in order to give the non-football loving occupants of your house something to do, here are some of our top suggestions. Go for a walk. Walk the dog. Go cycling. Cycle the dog. Recycle the dog. Just go! All very good options, we say. And that's not the only one. If one leg of your 4+ fold ACCA lets you down, get a free bet on all football leagues and markets. Paddy Power. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes shop bets. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
Well, welcome back to the south coast of England on Premier League Live for Brighton versus West Brom at the Amex Stadium, where at half-time the sides are separated by 1 goal. That was an own goal by Jake Livermore, and this is exactly what happened in the first half. Now it's Brighton's turn to come forward with Trossard. It's 3-on-4. Here comes Trossard, tries to play the ball through the middle to Lallana, into the penalty area, to Maupay. Strong save from Johnston. Diving down to his right, dangled out a leg and stopped the effort from Neil Maupay and stopped Brighton taking the lead.
That is Brighton to a T. Them three players combining at pace, at tempo like that is where they're going to cause West Brom problems, but a really good save by the goalkeeper.
Here's Trossard. who's a bit behind the play, but he has the ball. He loops it in towards Lamptey, the back post, who knocks it down here for Lallana with the strike. It's blocked by Ajay. Lamptey with the rebound across the face of goal and deflected in as an own goal, and it's either Livermore or Ivanovic who turned it in, but proper chaos in the 6-yard box has led to Brighton getting the first goal of the evening.
Well, it all started from that brilliant play from Dan Burn in the middle of the pitch. Got the ball wide, diagonal ball, a header at the far post by Lamptey. Ball dropped to Lallana, probably not a clean strike. Comes back to him, hits the ball across the box. And both defenders, Ivanovic and Livermore, are trying to do the right thing. They're trying to defend, they're trying to protect their team and kind of just getting each other's way. So 1-0 to Brighton. I think they deserved it and they've edged it. And they've just put that extra bit of pressure on.
Well, that's exactly how the first half unravelled here. 1-0 the score to the home side, the own goal from Jake Livermore. Well, my name's Richard Wolfenden, and just like you heard in that first half, I'm still joined by Dean Hammond. What's the West Brom do at the beginning of this second half now, Dean?
Well, I think they'll try and keep it tight. I think they'll keep it very similar to start with. They'll try and stay in the game. They've been better in possession than I expected. But at some point, they're going to have to try and bring another striker onto pitch to get some support for Grant, who's not had much help, has not touched the ball much. So they're going to have to get some more numbers forward to try and create chances against Brighton, and they'll do that on the break when Brighton are sloppy and lose possession, when they've done that a couple of times this evening. So I think they'll keep it tight, and I think the last 20 minutes they'll probably open up if the score stays the same at 1-0.
Well, we saw in that first half, we identified that Lamptey and Diangana seemed like the key kind of battle down the West Brom left-hand side. Do you think it'd be wise to switch Diangana out onto the right-hand side, because he certainly seems to be a bit more wingerish than Pereira, you could say?
You could do, from an attacking sense, that makes real sense to do that against Solly March. I just think maybe Piero just won't do the defensive side against Lamptey. So you're taking a risk by doing that, but I see the sense in it. It could work because you'd want him to be isolated one-on-one against Solly March, and you'd fancy him taking an advantage of that. And that may happen as the game goes on, and later on when there's, maybe if they're still losing, there's 10 minutes left, they're allowed to do that and maybe allow him to wander around the pitch, get more possession of the ball in more dangerous areas.
Yeah, well, the second half is about 10 minutes or so away. There is, of course, a game later on this evening in the Premier League up at Turf Moor between Burnley and Tottenham Hotspur. We'll hear from Jose Mourinho in just a second, but first we'll hear from Mr. Sean Dyche.
Well, we certainly didn't look to rattle anyone, only with good play and effective play, so that's what we'll be looking to do again, play effectively, play a style that can be awkward and hard for them to get a grip on. And equally, you've got to deal with them. They're in good form, they've got top players, we know that. But we have come across them before and given a good performance level and affected the game and got things from the game. We're going to have to do that again, obviously, because they've got some, what I think are really top players, and one of the top probably in the country with Harry Kane, who he's showing once again not just his goals, but he can make a goal as well. So it's not about individuals, and I don't think he's the professional who thinks he is an individual. He knows there's a team around him, but I still think he's a top player.
You will feel how strong they are when by March, April, where lots of teams will be fighting for relegation, they will be already saved. They will be already 8, 9, 10 comfortable in the table. This is Burnley. So the fact that they have only one point in this moment, they have one match less, and the fact that they had only one point doesn't tell me much. Burnley is Burnley. The way they play, the players they have, their style of play, the manager, nothing changed there. It's always difficult, and it's going to be difficult.
It's coming back together now. The group is getting more balanced again. I still think we were 2 or 3, certainly 2, I think, short of what we probably need to, sort of activate the group, if you like, because players, they need in-house competition. They also need that freshness sometimes where a new face comes in. It just kind of gives everyone another little push forwards, and we haven't managed to do that. On the other hand, we have kept players who are very, very important here, so there is a balance to that. And I've said all along, once they're all fit, and it doesn't look quite a stretch. It's just that we stretch easily because we don't carry a massive squad.
It's time for evolution. It's time to affect the team, not just the way we play, but also the way we think. And sometimes the way we think takes more time than other things. I'm very happy with the squad. Of course, next summer we will need to give a couple of touches, but this is what you always do to improve your squad.
Well, yeah, it's Burnley versus Tottenham just a little bit later on in the Premier League. So, Dean, just a quick word on Burnley. Where's it gone wrong for them this season? 0 wins from 4.
I just think it's the injury list they've had, and there was a little bit of unrest, I think, with the ownership and a little bit of friction between him and Sean Dyche. I think that was a public knowledge that maybe Sean wanted some heavier investment. I think he's done an unbelievable job there to keep him in the Premier League, to compete year in and year out. The recruitment they have, the players they bring in is really, really good. I just think he wanted some help, and that does rub off on the players. It does have an effect in the dressing room. You can say it doesn't, but it does. And the injuries have not helped. He's not had a settled team. He's not had his best team out yet. If he can get his best team out, like he said in his interview, they can compete against any team in this league, especially at home because of the way they play. But they do get stretched when they do have them injuries and suspensions, and that's where they struggle. So at some point during the season, Burnley always put a run together that gets them out of trouble, and I think that will be no different this year.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, that is the late kick-off. The second half of Brighton vs West Brom is just around the corner. This is Premier League Live.
As darkness sweeps around the globe at 8 p.m. on the 18th of November, 25,000 people worldwide will pull their running shoes on to hit the road for a virtual 5 or 10k at Run in the Dark. I'm Mark Pollock, and by joining us to Run in the Dark this November, you'll be supporting the Mark Pollock Trust and our charity partner Collaborative Cures, whose mission it is to cure paralysis in our lifetime. Register now at runinthedark.org and get your medal, your flashing armband, and your Run in the Dark virtual timing app. Thank you.
Let's talk about you looking after your business. Ford, looking after your vehicle. Let's talk hassle-free Ford leasing. Just a fixed monthly payment, no motor tax to deal with, and no maintenance or servicing to pay on selected plans. Get the all-new Ford Kuga from €425 per month. Hassle-free Ford lease. Now we're talking. Search Ford lease or text Ford to 50015 to speak to us about leasing your next vehicle.
Text cost to standard rate. Price quoted for a Kuga Titanium with no maintenance over 4 years with 3 monthly rentals in advance. 20,000 kilometres per annum. Business users only. Price excludes VAT. Ford Lease is provided by Marion Fleet Management, trading as Ford Lease.
Get ready and hold on tight, because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track, and who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews, and opinions from the biggest names in football. Plus, expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
This is not the time for business as usual. It's time for effort and imagination. It's time to use technology to start your online plans. It's time to work from home to stay in touch. It's time to look to each other. Erscá Céile. Ireland is working online with help from Black Knight and .ie, because now we need better than business as usual. Call Black Knight on 059 918 3027 or visit blackknight.ie.
123ink.ie for all your home office needs, including printers, ink, toners, paper, label markers, binders, pens, bins, batteries, boxes, chalk, compass, files, memory sticks, highlighters, glue, notepads, pencils, Whoa! And we're cheaper than your current supplier. 123ink.ie for home, for office, for less.
Introducing Guardson Sport. Protect your sporting equipment from COVID-19 for up to 14 days with Guardson Sport disinfectant treatment. Ideal in team sport settings with the sharing of balls, rackets, gloves, helmets, and all other sporting equipment. Guardson Sport kills COVID-19 on impact, keeping surfaces free from COVID-19 and other viruses and bacteria for up to 14 days by creating a protective polymer layer on application. For more information on Guardson Sport and other quality assured, certified and approved PPE, visit yourcovidprotection.com.
Well, welcome back to Premier League Live here at the Amex Stadium in Brighton for Brighton versus West Bromwich Albion. The second half is just about to get underway. My name's Richard Wolfenden. I was here for the first half. I'll be here for the second half, just like my co-commentator Dean Hammond. So, Dean, in this second half, do West Brom need to come out firing on all cylinders?
I think they do. I think they need to start a little bit quicker. Possession-wise, they've been good. They need to get more numbers forward to support Grant, really, to give him an opportunity at a goal, really, if they're going to get back into this game. But they've been impressive with the ball. They just need to do it higher up the pitch.
Yeah, you'd feel like if they give Grant one opportunity, he'd probably take it. 19 goals in the Championship last season, the 4th highest scorer in the competition. But he's yet to have a sniff. In fact, at half-time we had a little bit of a statistical graph just pop up in front of us. He only had 9 touches of the ball in that first 45 minutes. The definition of an isolated striker there already. He's had 3 and he's gone down, and he's not won a free kick, but he's already had a third of his touches in that first half. That is a good start for him, I think. So I'll run you through the two sides starting 11s. Matt Ryan is in goal for Brighton with Dan Burn, Adam Webster, Joel Veltman in front of him with Solly March and Tariq Lamptey as the fullbacks. Yves Bissouma and Ben White are the holding midfielders with Adam Lallana, Neil Mopay and Leandro Trossard leading the line for Brighton and Hove Albion this evening. The visitors, West Brom, have Sam Johnston in goal, making his 100th appearance for the Baggies today, with Connor Townsend, Branislav Ivanovic, Semi Ajayi and Darnell Furlong across the back 4, with Jake Livermore, Conor Gallagher, Filip Kravinovic in midfield, with Mateus Pereira, Grady Diangana and Carlin Grant making up the visitors 11. But it's the own goal in the first half from the unfortunate West Brom captain Livermore, which separates the two sides at the beginning of the second half here. 46 minutes played. It's Brighton 1, West Brom 0 on Premier League Live, and the home side of a free kick just inside the West Brom half. Doesn't seem like too much has changed from West Brom at the beginning of the second half. Similar kind of shape. Here's Veltman, the man who joined from Ajax in the summer. Not really pressing with much intent, West Brom. I think that's something which is a little bit different between the two sides. Brighton keen to get on that first touch of the West Brom players as Veltman switches off for a second. Didn't realise Grant was behind him. Woke up just in time to get rid of the danger though. Here's Ajayi in a battle with Mopay. Second ball breaks away West Brom though, and Connor Townsend has it on the left hand side. Back inside to Conor Gallagher. Furlong on the right hand side, heavy touch which forced him to go back. He's not getting a moment here, the West Brom defenders. The balding Ivanovic at the back for West Brom, able to guide it back to Johnston. He made a handful of good saves in that first half. Certainly the busier of the two goalkeepers. Here's Townsend, left footed, switches it down the left channel looking for Diangana, who heads it back into the mix, but there's nobody there in West Brom's colours to get it. Ryan boots it away down the Brighton right hand side. Lallana in a tussle with Townsend. It's won by Townsend, and West Brom will get a throw in, won by Diangana. Lamptey and Diangana get their battle underway once more. Here are the two players up against one another. Diangana attacking, Lamptey defending. He's got Lallana out to help him defend here for Ivanovic. And now Townsend, can he get the ball in? He loops it in towards the penalty area, looking for Grant, headed away by Veltman. Townsend with a shot from the edge of the box, blocked in the middle again by Veltman, and away by Bissouma. Two decent chances there for the visitors. Yeah,
really good cross there from Townsend. Got into a good position. Furlong was coming into the back post, and a good strike by Gallagher, but a good block by the Brighton defender. I think it was
Veltman, I think, who was in the way.
Yeah, good block, but good start by West Brom. They're more on the front foot, playing at that little bit higher tempo and pressing Brighton up the pitch a little bit more, and getting more numbers forward. So positive signs for West Brom to start with at the beginning of the second half.
Yeah, I think the manager Slaven Bilic will be happy with that, as Webster has the ball at his feet and guides it back to Ryan despite him being under pressure in his own 6-yard box. And he boots it into the empty stands here at the Amex on the far side from our commentary position. Throw in midway inside Brighton half of West Brom, down their left. It's taken by Townsend into Diangana's feet, gives it back to Townsend. He goes back one more to Livermore, who knocks it against the feet of White, and we'll have a throw in the exact same position, West Brom. This time it goes to Diangana. Shouts of no foul from the management on the bench below us, but there is no foul, and they've got possession back. Good defending from Brighton Hove Albion. Trossard run into a bit of a green and yellow dead end as Diangana tries to play into the feet of Grant, who is just sleeping a little bit, and the Brighton defenders come away with it. Both sides not able to really get many passes away. Here's Townsend. Out wide it goes. Pereira, Kravinovic to Diangana, 20 yards from touch, gets the ball in with his left foot towards that near post. Veltman had to be alert to clear it away. Clears it away, and Mopé does brilliantly well to hold it up. Here's Lallana. Mopé making a run ahead of him, but Lallana does the sensible thing and goes back to White. Now Trossard, clever turn from him. Lallana, beautiful football from Brighton. Now Byrne bringing the ball down the left-hand side. The centre-back almost acting as a left wing-back at the moment. Here's Bissouma. Across the floor to Webster, the Brighton captain today, in for Dunk. Here's Trossard, wonderful touch from Mopé. He goes out wide here for the ball to come in from March, but it's an awful cross from March. He just thought about it a little bit too long there, Solly March. He had Mopé in there, and I think March was caught in two minds of whether to shoot or pass there.
Yeah, exactly that. Brilliant play by Brighton. Good combination in the middle of the pitch. Switched the ball out the wide to Solly March, and I think if he just crossed that first time and put it across and flashed it across the edge of the box, Mopé was coming in, so I think he had a word with him there, and he then caught in two minds, cross shot, and didn't really do anything with it in the end. But better from Brighton, control possession, turn into an attacking situation.
Yeah, wonderful little link up between Lallana and Trossard on the halfway line, which opened the space for Brighton to attack into. Here's Pereira under pressure from Byrne. He's done brilliantly well to pick out Kravinovic on the left hand side here, and now Diangana up against Lamptey once more. Can he get the better of him? He gets the ball into the mix, looking for Grant, headed away at the near post by Webster. Good positional play that from the Brighton captain.
Brilliant play by Pereira there, just splitting Brighton's midfield like Brighton did to West Brom first half. And West Brom have got a lot more crosses into the start of this second half. Probably 4 or 5 have gone into that box. Brighton have defended them well so far, but they look like they're trying to get the ball into the box earlier for Grant.
They do. Here is Grant, 30 yards from goal, across to Furlong. He's thinking about a shot, instead he crosses it towards the back post. Arriving at the back post is Townsend. It's headed away by Lallana, who was back there, and his header has just enough weight on it to stay in play, which Lamptey recovers. Now Lallana inside to White. Lots of room for White to move into here, and he does, and he finds Lamptey, who's got even more room to run into, and he's got the pace over Livermore here as the bench scream at him to take him on, and he does take him on. Townsend is back to help out his defender Livermore, but Lamptey's still ongoing. I think the referee shortly spotted a foul in there somewhere.
I'm not sure which one. There was definitely a foul in there somewhere. I think there was more than one, but yeah, Livermore did reasonably well there because he was isolated, and Lamptey's obviously quick. But yeah, I think there was definitely a foul there. Surprised the referee didn't give that decision.
Really surprised. I mean, Livermore had hold of him. I think what was more surprising was that Lamptey tried to play advantage and run through the legs of Townsend, which is certainly a creative way of getting beyond your defender. Anyway, there's no free kick for the home side. West Brom get away with it. Slaven Bilic hasn't sat down all evening yet, kicking every ball. He's one of those managers. Here's Furlong crossing the halfway line, under pressure from Trossard, twitches the play, looking for the overlapping run of Kravinovic, who will keep the ball in play in the quadrant of the corner flag. He goes back to Townsend, who loops it in towards the middle of the penalty area, and Solly March deals with it just about. Hesitated for a moment there, Solly March. It bounced up in front of him. Thankfully it bounced off his chest, and Matt Ryan was allowed to come out and pluck it out the sky.
Another great cross by Townsend, though. I think that's the third one he's put in second half. It just shows, it's just evident that West Brom just need to get more bodies in the box, because that was a great area, and if someone had attacked it at the back post against Solly March, they could have had an opportunity there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting more balls into the box, surely it makes sense to get another striker on.
I would. I think what they'll try and do, Bilic will just try and stay in the game. I don't think Brighton are going to run away with this. They won't get 2 or 3 goals in quick succession. So if he stays in the game, keeps it tight, last 20 minutes, brings on that extra striker in Robinson, and then if you're getting crosses like that in the box, that's when it could be dangerous.
You know, like you say, they have got Robinson on the bench. He's already got 2 Premier League goals to his name this season, both of those coming in the crazy 3-3 draw against Chelsea, where West Brom found themselves 3-0 up in the first half an hour. I don't think anybody saw that coming, not at least Frank Lampard. It's a free kick here for West Brom. I think Trossard just left something on one of the Baggies defenders there momentarily. Physio wasn't called on though, so a replay of it, I'm not quite sure what it was there on Pereira that caused him to go down. Either way, he seems okay, and play continues. 54 minutes played. Brighton 1, West Brom 0 is the score. An own goal in the first half from the West Brom captain Livermore. It's rather unfortunate. Ivanovic just booting it into his chest from point blank range as he tried to clear it off the line. The sort of thing which happens when you're one of those sides struggling down the bottom end of the table. Here is Livermore. Ivanovic on the centre spot with possession. Out wide to Furlong, looking for movement down the line. He sees it in the form of Grant. Good strength that from Karlan Grant to hold off Webster. Pereira onto that left foot of his, sprays it out wide to Townsend. Now a chance for West Brom to get the ball into the box. He can't though, because Lamptey's thrown himself at it and doesn't beat the first man. Here's Kravinovic, whose touches let him down, stretching for the ball, and Brighton get it back with Lallana gliding past players as he has done throughout his whole career, in his Southampton days and his Liverpool days, even his England days. Here's Byrne. Possession at his feet, looking for options, under no pressure from anybody in a West Brom shirt. Karlan Grant slowly jogging towards the ball, but no real pressure from the Baggies attack. Do you think West Brom aren't attacking the defenders who have the ball because they're concerned about the space in the midfield that creates when the attackers move forward?
I think they're just wary of that pass first half we talked about when they split the West Brom midfield from the centre half, because they know they're very comfortable in possession. So I think they're just trying to set traps. They'll let Brighton come so far, and then they'll press them a little bit higher with a more intensity. But they'll let them have the ball at the back, and then it gets to a certain area, then they'll pounce, I think, and they've done that reasonably well second half.
Isn't that all well and good when you're level, but when you're 1-0 down, you need to get a goal? But you think they should be a little bit more risky, take a few more chances?
I think they will do, Richard. I think there's something that...
Well, they could do here, because Townsend's got the space down the right-hand side. He's away from Byrne. Can he get a good ball in? He pulls it back for Pereira, who just waited too long. And Ben White comes to the rescue from nowhere for Brighton and Hove Albion to just pounce before the trigger was about to be pulled by Mateus Pereira.
Yeah, brilliant movement by Gallagher. Good running behind, very composed, but great defensive tackle there by Ben White. And that is the beauty of having a centre-half, ball-playing centre-half, playing midfield. He'll sense danger, he'll be aware of danger, and an excellent time tackle.
Solid stuff from Ben White. Here's Bissouma now. Brighton on the attack now. It's Ben White in possession, has his shirt pulled by Grant. The referee spotted it. Waves play on. So just going back to what you were saying a minute ago, Dean, when do you reckon the time is to roll the dice for Slaven Bilic?
I think anywhere, you're getting around the 70-minute mark. I think you'll see it. The mentality of the West Brom team will change when they bring that extra strike on, because they will do. They'll want to try and get obviously a point, or not try and win this game tonight, and they'll need to bring that second striker on. But the difference is then you have to change formation, and that's the only problem against Brighton, who are very good in possession, who can find them gaps, who can open you up. So you need to be a little bit wary, but the 70-minute mark, I think Bilic will make a change.
Yeah, well, we're approaching the 58th minute mark, and it's still 1-0 to Brighton. Both sides got the 11 they started with on the pitch, so all substitutes available to both managers so far. Incidentally, for Brighton today, Danny Welbeck is on the bench, joined on a free transfer after his contract expired at Watford. Just joined on a 1-year deal from the Hertfordshire side. Here's Trossard, plays the ball down the left hand side. Lallana in space in the middle, but March concedes the throw in, hit Ivanovic and then hit Solly March, and will go for a West Brom throw in. Dean, just a word on Danny Welbeck, if he comes on. Is he a good signing for Brighton, do you think?
I think it's a sensible signing, just because of the time. The transfer window had closed. If I'm honest, I don't think he was their number one target. They need a striker, they need some more firepower if they're going to score more goals this season. So the players that are available, I think then he becomes your number one choice, because he's got good experience, he's a good player, he'll be good for the younger players. In Connolly, who can come off the bench as well. So a shrewd signing, but I don't think when the window was open it was something they really looked at much, but they probably ran out of options, because every team's looking for that striker. But Danny Welbeck's had a good career. If you can keep him fit, a little bit like Adam Lallana, if you can keep them two fit, then they're very good investments.
Yeah, well, of course, got 42 England caps under his belt. Been to a few tournaments, plenty of games for Manchester United, Arsenal, plenty of Premier League experience. So they have got a man they can call upon who knows the league well. Here's Lamptey, slips on the wet surface, but does brilliantly well to hold on to possession under pressure from that man again, Diangana. Here's White, forced to go back. A little bit more of the press from West Brom at the moment. Krovinovic putting enough on Webster for him to go all the way back to Matty Ryan, the Australian international goalkeeper. He's had a tough start to the season, Matthew Ryan. Out of all the games he's played in, he's conceded 11 and only made 5 saves. Difficult for him. Here comes March now down the left hand side for Brighton. He's got an overlapping run in the form of Lallana, who gets into the penalty area, pulls it back, but it's blocked well by Townsend, who snuffed out the danger and turns it behind for a Brighton corner. But a lovely bit of link-up play there between March and Lallana.
Yeah, brilliant pass a weighted pass by Adam, excellent run on the outside. Solly March timed the pass to perfection, sucked the defender in, great movement. That's what Adam Lallana brings you, that creativity, that spark. I just couldn't quite get the cross in the box, not enough players going in the box, but excellent movement, and that's what Adam's all about.
Yeah, well, I think this may well be his race run, as there's a substitution being prepared, I think, down in front of us, and it is Adam Lallana who's going to make way. Jonathan Moss just indicating him to go off where the benches are rather than taking the shortest route. And it's the German Pascal Gross who will be coming on in his place. Number 14 off, number 13 on. Again, another creative player in the form of Pascal Gross coming on for Brighton. Corner here for Brighton, which is going to be taken by Pascal Gross. He's certainly a set piece expert. Incidentally, 12 league goals for Brighton, 10 at home. That's a good sign if he gets one for himself today. Anyways, Gross in towards the near post. Arriving was Webster, but it's headed away by, I think it was Grant. Here's Pereira. He's got Diangana in support, but there's not enough on that pass, and Brighton get it back. Here's Mope in the middle. Here's March out wide now. Options in the middle. The ball goes all the way back to Gross, who whips it in towards the back post. Byrne goes up, he beats Semi Ajayi in the air, but can't direct his header into the danger area where Mope and Trossard were lurking. So the big man's header goes behind for a goal kick. So what do you think Gross will offer that Adam Lallana didn't in this final 28 minutes or so? Is it just a fitness thing, do you think?
I think it is. I think it's more of a protection thing with Adam. He's had them injury problems in the past at Liverpool, didn't play for a long time, and they've won him for the whole season, Adam. So I think they're giving him an hour. They've done it in a few games, and they're slowly introducing him to more minutes each time. But Gross is a good player, a little bit different to Adam, a little bit more direct when he gets into them attacking areas. He'll check back and he'll cross the ball in the box. He'll get a shot on. He'll take that responsibility. So both excellent players, good to have in your squad, but just brings a little bit of a different approach to Adam Lallana.
Well, there's a change on the way for West Brom as well, and it is Robinson who's coming on. There's another striker on the field for the visitors, which is of utmost importance now, you'd imagine, for West Brom as they hunt that equaliser. 62 minutes gone, it's 1-0 to Brighton still, and it's Grady Diangana who's the second player who's going to come off. Are you surprised by that decision?
I am, yeah, because he's the player that has that spark, has that creativity, that can get you something out of nothing when he's driving with the ball and he gets it on his left foot and takes a strike or gets a good crossing. So the manager's obviously got his reasons. It's probably a change of formation. I would think he's probably gone 2 up now, or no, Robinson's gone to the right hand side. So yeah, interesting decision there, I must admit.
Yeah, tactical changes for West Brom. Incidentally, it's Edwards, the Dudley-born winger, who's come on in his place. England under-20 international, definitely one for the future, but he gets his chance today on the south coast. So he's able to drag West Brom back into this game. But yeah, he's out on that left-hand side where Pereira was, but where Diangana was, and he needs to do some defending here because Lamptey has got some space and he's managed to get the ball into the penalty area. It's a looping cross, not the best ball in the world. Easy header for Furlong. Now Townsend, Gallagher has it back for West Brom. It's a brilliant sweeping ball out wide for Robinson, and now the Brighton defence is a little bit more stretched. He's got Grant in support, he's got Pereira in support. Here is the Brazilian, arriving on the overlap is Edwards. He's got Webster for company, and that slowed him down enough, so he's had to go backwards. Townsend, can he get it back in? He gives it to Gallagher. On his right foot, goes across to Robinson, plays it into Pereira, knocks it down here for Furlong, who's advanced. Furlong takes the ball to the touchline, tries to get the ball in, it deflects off Solly March, and behind for a corner for West Bromwich Albion, is it? No, it's a goal kick. The ball ricocheting back off Darnell Furlong. I think he was rather unlucky there, Furlong. Well, we saw Edwards there getting his first involvement defensively and attacking wise, which is exactly what Dean Garner was doing. Didn't do the defending job so well as Lamptey was able to get the ball into the box, but I think attacking wise there, maybe just needed to release the ball a little bit earlier, maybe.
Yeah, he was in a good position. It was crying out to be slid across the box. I think sometimes as wingers you always wait to see if there's a player there, but if you just put it into a good area, you make a defender make a decision, you make a defender defend, and sometimes that's where you get own goals. So in that position, just flash it across that box.
Yeah, well, here he comes again. Brilliant run. He's gone past two blue shirts here, Edwards, and he's played it out wide for Townsend, who gets it out to Pereira with a shot from range. Oh, and it just dips wide of Ryan's left hand post. Well, it looked like Townsend had scuffed his shot to me, but unfortunately it just rolled to the edge of the D, and arriving was the Brazilian Pereira, the man you would have wanted to hit that, and he gets his left foot on it. Unfortunately for him, it curls away from Matt Ryan's left hand post.
Yeah, really intelligent pass by Townsend. Yeah, really clever pass. He's been much more involved second half, and Pereira, you would think he would do better there. You know, he had time to look at it, he had time to line it up on his left foot, try to curl it in that far corner, and unfortunately for him just went wide. But much better from West Brom. You know, they're getting into good areas now, and they're picking out more intelligent passes to create them opportunities.
Yeah, there's definitely an improvement on the first half performance, that's for sure. Attacking wise, 66 minutes gone, still Brighton 1, West Brom 0. Here's Mopé, not seen much of him in the second half. He goes back to White now in the centre circle, sprays a pass out to his right hand side where Tariq Lamptey receives it, gives it back to the man who spent time at Leeds last season. Gross inside to Trossard. Here's Gross once more, under pressure, forced all the way back to Matt Ryan, who's under pressure from Carlin Grant, so this time just empties and plays it out to the left hand side where March was going for the challenge with Furlong, but Furlong uses Nous there just to nudge March out of the game and win the throw in. Here's Furlong, chucks it down the right hand side looking for Robinson. Byrne beats him to it, but he only knocks it down for Robinson, who goes inside for Pereira, who's got three Brighton players around him, and he's never going to escape from that. Byrne comes away and it's really well to keep it in play, but gives it away to Robinson, the man who came on as a substitute in this game for West Brom just a few minutes ago. Here's Kravinovic in a deeper role into Grant. Can he turn his defender? Standing up still. It falls here for Kravinovic with the left foot shot. Strong save to his right hand side by Matt Ryan, and West Brom are knocking on the door here at the Amex Stadium.
I think Robinson's made a huge difference because he's running in behind, he's stretching Brighton, so there's more space for the midfielders to get onto the ball. Great strike, really good save, but West Brom have turned up the tempo now, playing with that a little bit more urgency, like we said they needed to do, and getting more opportunities. So Brighton need to be aware here because West Brom are starting to dominate in that middle of the midfield.
They really are. They're playing with just a little bit more pace, a little bit more speed in their style of play, and they've got their first corner of the game on the 67th minute. Ivanovic is up from the back. The referee, Jonathan Moss, unhappy with something in the 6-yard box. I think it was just a little bit of a tussle between Basuma and Furlong. Jonathan Moss having a word with Furlong, or maybe it was Gross who he was battling with, not quite sure. Well, there's always a little bit of handbags on corners. If you're the defender, you don't want to give away a penalty here. In it comes from Edwards, left-footed, Ryan off his line, punches it away two-handed. And then it's helped further away by Trossard, but he's the furthest forward for Brighton, so eventually possession is relinquished back to the all-in-pink West Brom goalkeeper Sam Johnston. He plays it out wide to Edwards. Good first touch from Edwards. In fact, it wasn't that good. It's allowed to be recovered by Lamptey, who gives it to Gross, who goes back to Lamptey, slightly behind the former Chelsea man. Here is Webster. Looks like West Brom definitely playing more of a higher press now. Here's Robinson. He gives it away with a delicate back heel, trying to find Kravinovic. March, left channel pass from Mopé to chase Ivanovic. He's in a foot race with him. Across comes Semi Ajayi though, and Mopé wants a free kick. He was the meat of the sandwich there between the two West Brom defenders. A bit unfortunate there, Mopé. I feel like he's kind of feeling how Grant felt in the first half for West Brom.
Yeah, he's more isolated now, you're right, Richard, and West Brom have really turned up the tempo now, and Brighton are playing on the counter-attack. So, the game's changed now. West Brom have just seemed to have more energy about them, more urgency, and I don't know if it was a game plan to wait for the last 25 minutes and then really pressure Brighton, but it seems to be working at the moment. They look a lot more comfortable in possession, and like I say, Robinson's made a difference because he's stretching the Brighton defence.
Yeah, he's came on and changed a lot for West Brom. Edwards also done a decent job since coming on for Dean Garner on that left-hand side. West Brom have won a free kick just in front of the substitutes bench as Brighton prepare to make their second change of the game. Solly March is the man who goes off, and coming on in his place is Alexis McAllister, who scored that late equaliser in the game against Crystal Palace last week. And I was really surprised to find out that McAllister isn't Scottish, in fact Argentinian with that name. I think it's the Alexis which gives it away, maybe. Here's Townsend back to Gallagher now. Gallagher right-footed, swings it towards the back post in the penalty area. Arriving at the back post was Furlong, who loses out on the header. Here is McAllister, who's dispossessed by Robinson. And it's a West Brom throw-in, and the manager Slaven Bilic is trying to get that throw-in taken quickly.
You can't say he's not passionate, can you, Bilic?
He's kicking every ball, directing every player where he wants to make a pass. It's the puppeteer of this West Brom side. Here's one of his puppets. Kravinovic gives it away though. Disappointing pass into Robinson's feet. Lamptey. Webster plays the ball down the right channel, trying to find Trossard. However, the Belgians' outstretched right leg couldn't control that pass. West Brom have it back. 20 minutes for the Baggies to find an equaliser. Here's Ivanovic into the feet of Robinson, and he's won a free kick. In fact, it was Pereira who was shoved in the back by Basuma, who's yet to get a yellow card. He's given away quite a few little naughty fouls in the midfield, Basuma, throughout this game, but still avoids the referee's notebook. Here's Robinson, tries a deep cross. It's not the best one. Arriving is Edwards, who got there. I think that last came off a Brighton defender, did it? It did. The linesman agrees with me. And West Brom will have a throw in midway inside. Brighton half. Down the West Brom right. Furlong, the man with the ball in his hand, looking for movement. Robinson wants it, points down the line, he gets it down the line. In a tussle here with McAllister. Stops the cross, does the Argentinian. Here's Furlong, loops the ball in towards the back post. Arriving at the back post is Townsend. Back into the middle it goes. It's loose on the penalty spot. White stabs it away. Not properly away. Gallagher was lurking. It's cleared out wide to Robinson. And now Furlong. There's 4 Baggy shirts in there. Doesn't beat the first man though. And that's a rather disappointing cross from Furlong. So many players in the box there for West Brom. They'll be disappointed by that ball coming in.
Well, that's what they were crying out for first half. More bodies in the box, and they're committing now. They run the front foot. They've really pegged Brighton back. Good passing and getting lots of crosses in the box because they're getting more numbers in the box. So good defending by Brighton, but they're under a bit of pressure. They look, if I'm honest, they look tired and they look weary. They just can't quite get their foot on the ball because West Brom have stepped up 10 yards up the pitch and making them pass at a quicker pace, at a higher tempo, and they're finding that difficult at the moment.
Yeah, well, they've still got one more sub available to Brighton. McAllister and Gross have came on. They've still got Welbeck, Connolly, Alzate and Bernardo. Steele if they decide they want to change their goalkeeper. Here's Mopé. McAllister now 30 yards from goal, gives it to Mopé, plays it out wide to Trossard. This is better from Brighton. Trossard tries to get it in, but it's blocked by Furlong. Up into the air it goes, and Robinson helps it away. Then Kravinovic helps it away further. Oh, it's a heavy fall from Webster. He heard a scream, but he's back on his feet. Made of tough stuff. There's Adam Webster. Out wide is Edwards, looking for movement in front of him. Has to go backwards to Townsend. Now Johnston, who completely shanks his clearance into touch, and I think that's the first real time that we've seen Johnston with the ball at his feet in this second half. He's hardly seen the ball, the Baggies goalkeeper. So if you're Graham Potter, Dean, in this situation, and you're under the cosh and holding on to a 1-0 lead, what do you do? Do you shut up shop, or do you try and just carry on playing the game you played in the first half, or trying to get back to play that game you were playing in the first half?
I just think they need a little bit more controlled possession. Now that's difficult because West Brom are pressing them, but they need to just have 1 or 2 more touches, play it around the back and just slow the game down a little bit. But Graham Potter won't change his philosophy. He'll play attacking football. He'll want to keep attacking. and hopefully Brighton can get that second goal to kill the game. But, you know, it's going to be difficult because West Brom have really got the tails up at the moment, playing with that energy and look the more confident and dangerous team.
Yeah, they really do. Brighton actually still playing with a relatively high line, whereas we saw West Brom in the first half sitting on the edge of their own penalty area at times. So they've now had to come out and play a little bit of football, and this guy in the middle for them, Kravinovic, looks a real player, having shots, making tackles as Carlin Grant is fouled, coming deep for possession just on the edge of the centre circle in the West Brom half. 75 minutes on the clock here at the Amex, and it's Brighton Hove Albion 1, West Bromwich Albion 0 on Premier League Live. It's been a very even game. Brighton the best team in the first half, but the visitors have been the better in the second. Not quite done enough to get a goal yet. That momentum they had about 10 minutes or so ago has faded slightly in terms of attempts on goal, that is. Up goes Byrne in a headed challenge with Pereira. He needs to get the ball on the floor. He's not really an aerial threat, Pereira. Here's Gallagher trying to get away from Lamptey, the right back, acting as defensive mid at the moment. Here's Robinson out wide. He's got Grant in the middle. If he can beat Byrne and get it in, he does exactly that. He tries to find Edwards. It breaks the edge of the box here for Pereira. Oh, what an effort by Mateus Pereira. That wand of a left foot was waved over the ball and just did it skim the post as it went wide. What an effort from Mateus Pereira from 25 yards.
What a strike. I mean, brilliant. What a controlled strike with his left foot. Just skims the outside of the post. Keeper Ryan was beaten, couldn't move. Brilliant from West Brom. I mean, Gallagher's come more influential this second half in the centre midfield. He's getting the ball wide to Robinson, and Robinson's been really good. Not doing anything complicated, anything major, getting the ball out of his feet and getting crosses into the box. That's obviously what he's been told to do. West Brom getting more numbers in the box, and the ball, Brighton just needs a little bit of a wear and pick them second balls up on the edge of the box, because Pierre has had two chances from the edge of the box to try and score now. But what a strike.
Yeah, goodness me. That was if there was a stadium full here, they would have been all breathing in at the same moment there when that left his left foot. A brilliant strike from Pereira, just a foot or so too far to the left hand side of the post. There's a foul here from Webster diving in on Grant, who's taken a handful of these this evening, and there is a yellow card waved the way of the Brighton captain. They could do without another defender getting suspended, Brighton.
I think that's just frustration from Webster though. He really knows he's in a game now. Grant's come into the game, not had any chances, but he's holding the ball up better, he's getting into better position. So Webster, I think that tackle was just pure frustration.
Yeah, it's a silly place for a centre back to give away a free kick as well, as Edwards comes flying in, doesn't get there. Townsend gets it on the edge of the box, loops it in towards the back post. It's behind the West Brom strikers, but it breaks back to Pereira, edge of the box, pulls it back looking for Kravinovic, but it's well read by Trossard getting back there. Didn't expect him to be there. Here's Byrne, tries to clear it but can't get it away from Pereira, as the goalkeeper Matt Ryan will happily see that just spin up into the air and into his penalty area, and will try and drain down just a few seconds here. Pereira running away from the ball, and that was quite strange. He's just quite happy to see some time get wasted as Brighton prepared their third change. Alzate looks like the man who's going to be coming on. Do you think another midfielder is what Brighton need at the moment?
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's why he's coming on. I think they've lost control in that area of the pitch, and that's where West Brom are dominating. They're on the front foot, they're combining well, getting the ball wide. So if Brighton can get another midfield player, a disciplined midfield player, they may be able to just break up this momentum that West Brom are building up.
Alzate is primed and ready to come on. He's just got the file which has the tactical approach that they're going to be playing out in front of him. It's going to be interesting to see who comes off for Brighton. This will probably show the intent of how they're going to play, and that's exactly how they're going to play. Trossard is the man coming off, an attacking option for a midfield option. He's putting a good shift today, Trossard. He's one of the unlucky ones in that Manchester United game. Hit the post 3 times. Unfortunately not had a sniff at goal today, really, Trossard, but putting a real shift for the home side.
He did, and he was effective first half. Him and Adam Lallana played well together, so yeah, putting a good shift, worked really hard, had some nice touches, had a couple of strikes at goal. Didn't get the opportunities he wanted like he potentially did against Manchester United, but I like him as a player. He's creative, and then front three in the first half, when they combined and played well together, they seem to have a good relationship and are building up a good understanding between them.
Yeah, well, it's now Mopé and I think McAllister and Gross who are going to be the attacking options for Brighton as this game ticks towards the 90th minute. But I think the main objective of Graham Potter now is to just keep this score at 1-0.
I think he'd love a clean sheet. I think that would be brilliant, even more than winning 3 or 4-0. If you could win a 1-0 scrappy game, I think that's what Brighton need to add to their philosophy this season to get more points than they can.
Here's Mope in the penalty area, knocks it behind for a corner. So Brighton have got a chance to whip the ball into the penalty area. I don't think they're going to commit too many players forward for this. And I think it'll be a sensible decision of West Brom to get everybody back, and Brighton don't really want to get caught on the counter. It only looks like they're sending 3 players into the penalty area, in fact. Johnston preparing himself. In fact, no, they've sent forward all the centre-backs. He's going for a second one here, Graham Potter. He's told the big boys to get up. Lamptey and Bissouma lurk just outside the box as well, as Gross will take this corner, puts it in towards the goalkeeper, headed away by Grant. Up in the air it goes, and Lamptey, thankfully for Brighton, is onto the second ball. Gross gets it back and chucks it over the top, hoping to find somebody in blue making a run, but it's straight into the pink gloves of Johnston. He releases it, looking for Robinson. Bissouma beats him in the air. The second ball's won by Alzate with his first touch. Now Bissouma plays it forward, gives it away though to Kravinovic, and this opens up space for Pereira. Clever bit of footwork from Pereira, doesn't get him anywhere though. Lamptey wins it back, and he plays a clever pass to McAllister, and Brighton could counter here. McAllister in the West Brom half. He's got the overlapping surging run from Webster, but he does the sensible thing and just slows the play down, and that was the right thing to do, don't you think, Dean?
Yeah, really clever play. I think that might have been an instruction from the manager. If they get the opportunity, get some possession, get some control possession, take the sting out of the game, because West Brom have been on top. So really clever play by McAllister there.
Yeah, here's Gallagher surrounded by blue shirts. He has to go back to Semi J. And now Ivanovic via Johnston. Ivanovic out to Furlong, who's had a good game in the right back position. Puts it through the legs of McAllister to find Robinson, who's closed down quickly by the Brighton defence. Now they bring it out. Jay strides towards the halfway line. Townsend on the halfway line. Asks for a ball into feet. Moans that he can't get a ball into a baggy shirt. Everyone back in their own half for Brighton. Alzate is the man who's playing alongside Mope at the moment, leading the line. Not really pressing with too much intent. Is the substitute Alzate. Here's Edwards. Tries to switch the play, doesn't come off, and it's deflected into the path of Mope, who again holds up possession, gives it to McAllister, who once more does the sensible thing, holds on to it and goes back to his defence. Here's Webster, and now Gross. West Brom just have to get their positional sense aligned with one another as they try to just get the ball back off Brighton. They're not pressing too hard, as of course with 8 minutes to go there's going to be a few tired legs out there. There is one more substitution available to West Brom. They have got Phillips on the bench, the Scottish international. There's Kravinovic down the right hand side for Robinson. Now the space here, Grant in the penalty area. He tries the early ball, it deflects back. Carlin Grant with space to shoot and scores the equaliser for West Bromwich Albion. It's his first in the Premier League for his new side, and he hammers it into the top of the goal. He got a lucky deflection on the cross, but make no mistake, Carlin Grant rifles it into the back of that Brighton net.
Well, brilliant pass into Robinson. Again, 2 touches, cross into the box, and Grant here just steadies himself, takes that extra touch, and that's what the good strikers do. Just composes himself, and a really good finish for a player that's not had any opportunities tonight. Played well for the team, but what a great first touch to set himself, and then the power to beat Ryan. So good finish, and can we argue West Brom, I think, deserved that?
I think they do. I mean, I feel a little bit sorry for Ben White, because he seemed to be in the right place to intercept that cross, but it just clipped the heel of another Brighton defender, and it took it behind White, and that allowed it to fall into Grant's path. But you know what, he had to be in the right place to do that, and his reward for scoring that goal is to be immediately substituted, which is an interesting one. I think he'll be a bit frustrated with that, won't he?
He will be, yeah. He's just got his first opportunity, he's scored his goal, he'll be elated, and then the manager brings him off. But no, he's done his job now. He's worked hard for the team tonight. Would have been very frustrated first half. I think, like you mentioned, he touched the ball 9 times, but gets an opportunity. You can see why West Brom have signed him now. 1 opportunity tonight, 1 goal. So if they can get him more chances, it looks like he could be a threat for West Brom this year.
Yeah, well, it's Phillips who's come on in place of him, the number 10 for the Baggies. Didn't even make the squad last week, did Phillips. Well, he's in it today, and he's on the pitch. Here's Byrne down the left-hand side. Kravinovic has to get across to McAllister, who makes a sliding tackle. That was ridiculous from the West Brom midfielder. McAllister just able to get away from him into the penalty area, but working back was Furlong to knock it behind for a corner. Silly sliding tackle that from Kravinovic, wasn't it?
Yeah, he would have seen that coming from a long way, so he just clipped him over as coming. Probably tried to slide across the surface to make a crunching tackle. No need, the player wasn't going anywhere and could have been dangerous, but Furlong recovered well.
Yeah, here is the corner now. It's Gross who will take it. He puts it a deep one towards the back post. Johnson comes, gets a hand on it, but did he clatter into the defender Byrne first? Now, we've not had a VAR analysis at all this evening, but in the 85th minute, I think this will be the first time where we ask for some assistance from the video assistant referee.
I mean, that's 50-50. I think Byrne's obviously going to get a header. The keeper's got a right to go for it. Could it be a foul? Could it be a penalty? I think probably not. I think the goalkeeper's got a right to go there, but he took a big risk.
Yeah, well, we're carrying on playing here, so there's no penalty given in this match. If there was a VAR check, it was a very, very quick one. But I think Johnson probably didn't make too much contact on Byrne for it to be considered a foul, but you've seen them given. 5 minutes to go on Premier League Live here at the Amex Stadium, and it is Brighton 1, West Brom 1 in, I'm not going to call it the Albion derby, but the battle of the two Albions. Here's Byrne, chucks the ball forward, he can't get it beyond Ivanovic. It's West Brom who are on the front foot at the moment. They completely deserved that equaliser, as Dean Hammond said. This is a foul on the halfway line from Kravinovic. Advantage played. Here's Lamptey. He's then fouled by Townsend. Referee still got his arms up for advantage as Alzate gets it in a, should we say, delicate area. West Brom come away with it though. No free kick. Gallagher. Here's Edwards, puts it through the legs of the defender, and now Gallagher's got space down the left-hand side. The flag stays down. The overlapping run is from Edwards, but tracking back from midfielders Ben White, and then Edwards gets his toe on it and knocks it behind for a goal kick. And as you can hear there, apologies for the language, there was a claim of offside against Gallagher not given, and there will be a goal kick. And you feel as if either side could probably win this. Brighton playing with some pace, West Brom not deafening the momentum that they've generated in the second half. But I mean, I don't know if you're a better man, Dean Hammond, but if you're going to put on some money on a team getting a winner in this game, who would you put it on?
Well, I'd have to say West Brom. I think they've been a much better team second half, especially the last half an hour. Changed the system, the manager was brave, made some attacking and positive decisions, and they've really had an effect. They've put a lot of balls in the box, a lot of crosses, so they're in the ascendancy, they're on the front foot, and I think Brighton look very weary and would look forward to the final whistle, which is unfortunate for the home team.
Yeah, I mean, we've just seen the attempts pop up. West Brom only had one in the first half, second half they've had 5, so significant improvement attacking wise from Slaven Bilic's side. Johnston goes long looking for anyone in green and yellow, but there's nobody there, so Webster has all the space pretty much of the final third. Take a touch and lay it off to White. Just trying to work out, it seems as if Brighton have changed their midfield set up a little bit. I think White's operating as a centre back now, and Gross is a midfielder. Well, there's a chance through the middle here. Oh, and it's Phillips who just dwelled on the ball too long for West Brom. Got the ball caught under his feet. And do you think that's just because he's a substitute, he's not up to the pace of the game yet, that he didn't really make the most of that?
Yeah, I think he's come on fresh. He wasn't quite ready for it, unfortunately, because good position again and sloppy play by Brighton. I think that's been the story of their second half. They've not quite got their passing game going, and West Brom have pressed them, and they've made a few areas with their passing. I think that would disappoint Graham Potter, because that is the one thing that he values more than anything, is possession of the football.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me like they've changed their shape just a little bit. I feel like Dan Burns now playing as an out-and-out left-back, and now they've got Webster and White, I think it is, or Veltman it'll be, I suppose, as the centre-back. So many centre-backs in this Brighton team, it's so hard to tell. Here's Byrne. Goes inside to Gross, who goes back to Webster, who gets rid. Here's Kravinovic to Gallagher. Pressure from Gross forces him out wide. No, Veltman's now playing as a right back with White as a centre back alongside Webster. So 4 centre backs is their back 4 at the moment for Brighton.
I think that's how good West Brom have been, that Brighton have had to adapt and have had to change because they were getting overrun.
Yeah, they were. Lamptey now the right midfielder for Brighton. Here's Furlong, tries to play it down the West Brom right, gives it to Phillips via the deflection of Alzate, but he manages to get away from Byrne, the left back. Cleared away. Here's Ivanovic, plays the ball back forward, looking for Pereira. Basuma went up asking for a free kick. I mean, Pereira kind of went in not looking to win that ball. It was all eyes for the player, not the ball, but he's managed to win his side. A throw in as we go into the final minute of normal time here. 1-1 the score between Brighton and West Brom. Down the line it goes, flicked on by Phillips, only flicks it on to a Brighton player though. It's given away. And Basuma has it. No, he doesn't. He's lost out now to Pereira. McAllister can't get it off him. Here's Pereira. Good incisive pass to Robinson. He holds it up and gives it to Kravinovic 40 yards from goal. Pereira skips away from Lamptey all too easily for the Brazilian. He slides it into Grant, who goes down. And he wants a free kick. He's not going to get it though. A strong challenge on the edge of the penalty area. I'd like to see that one again.
To be fair to the ref, Jonathan Moss, he's let a lot go tonight. He's let the game flow, which has been good for us. It's been entertaining, but yeah, I think there might have been a foul there by Webster on Robinson. An excellent pass by Piera again. He's been really, really good second half.
He really has, yeah. Robinson, the solo striker for now. Grant's gone off, that's my mistake. Here's Veltman making his first start today. Looked pretty solid at the back line there, but here's a chance here. Robinson running in behind. He's away from White. White now manages to recover. He's still got possession though. Robinson in the penalty area, squares it looking for Phillips, but Dan Byrne is there sliding across to knock it out of play for a throw in 20 yards from the corner flag down the West Brom left.
Good defending by Ben White there, just held up Robinson, who was away, who's paced, but just showed, I didn't realise how quick Ben White was there. Made some good ground and held him up when it was a dangerous position.
Yeah, he recovered his position well as West Brom come forward again. It's Townsend in the penalty area, can't get away from Veltman, and it can't get cleared properly by Brighton. They do get rid now eventually with Gross, and now McAllister, can he get it? Oh, there's a breakdown in communication as Jay gets it up. We have 3 minutes added on, by the way, a minute of that played. Here's Furlong. Phillips up against Byrne. You'd think he'd be able to do him for pace as Phillips puts it onto his left foot. Kravinovic back to Phillips down the West Brom right hand side in the final third. Phillips, a few step overs from him. He still can't get away from Byrne, but he gets the ball in the box and it's away by Webster. Swings his left foot at it. Now Pereira, 30 yards from goal, dinks it over the top beautifully. Here's the chance of the penalty for Furlong. Oh, what a tackle that is. Webster, the captain today, leading by example.
Brilliant tackle, what a great tackle. But again, Piera, just what a pass. Looped it over to midfield. Furlong, if he'd had a better touch, would have got a strike, but really, really good defending. Read the pass, read the action, well timed. So, Brighton are under a bit of pressure here, and West Brom won't want this game to finish.
No, they really want it. It's a corner for West Brom, the second of the game. They take it short. Here's Phillips into the penalty area. It goes towards the head of Robinson. It's away though by Webster. It breaks it for Pereira on the volley, and he hits it a good 2 or 3 metres over the top of Matthew Ryan's crossbar, and it just dropped kindly there for Pereira. Unfortunately, he had a sea of baggy shirts and Brighton shirts in front of him, and he put it over the top of all of them.
It did, yeah, and it was his third strike from that sort of distance, but under pressure there, got a good connection on it. Good defending by Brighton, just trying to see this game out. But I've said it again, Pierre has been the difference second half. Him playing centrally from his wide position, he's dominated the game, controlled the game and created chances for West Brom.
He really has. 30 seconds remain of the 3 minutes added on, and it's Ivanovic with the ball at his feet. What can he do? Is he going to go long? He's only got 30 seconds to do something with it. He does go long looking for Robinson, and there's a mistake at the back from Webster and Byrne, and it breaks to Robinson in the penalty area, who squares it here, but he can't find Edwards just behind him, which allows Veltman to step in and take command for Brighton at the back. Here's Lamptey now, as Brighton just want to get a little bit of possession as time ticks away. There's a flick on in the middle by Alzate looking for Mopé. And Jay, Townsend, maybe we'll have time. No, we won't, because there is the final whistle here on the south coast at the Amex Stadium. It's finished Brighton and Hove Albion 1, West Bromwich Albion 1, and it's been a very turgid game of two halves, you could say. And Brighton dominated the first, had their lead at half time. West Brom then got their late equaliser through Colin Grant, and this was the story of the match. Now it's Brighton's again to come forward with Trossard. It's 3-on-4. Here comes Trossard, tries to play the ball through the middle to Lallana, into the penalty area, to Mopé. Strong save from Johnston, diving down to his right, dangled out a leg and stopped the effort from Neil Mopé and stopped Brighton taking the lead. Is Trossard, who's a bit behind the play, but he has the ball. He loops it in towards Lamptey, the back post. He knocks it down here for Lallana with the strike. It's blocked by Ajay. Lamptey for the rebound across the face of goal and deflected in as an own goal. And it's either Livermore or Ivanovic who turned it in. But proper chaos in the 6-yard box has led to Brighton getting the first goal of the evening. It's Kravinovic in a deeper role into Grant. Can he turn his defender? Standing up still. It falls here for Kravinovic with the left foot shot. Strong save to his right hand side by Matt Ryan, and West Brom are knocking on the door here at the Amex Stadium. It's Kravinovic down the right hand side for Robinson. Now the space here. Grant's in the penalty area. He tries the early ball. It deflects back. Colin Grant with space to shoot and scores the equaliser for West Bromwich Albion. It's his first in the Premier League for his new side, and he hammers it into the top of the goal. He got a lucky deflection on the cross, but make no mistake, Colin Grant rifles it into the back of that Brighton net. And that was it, the equaliser, the last goal of the game. The final score here at the Amex was Brighton 1, West Brom 1. Well, I've been watching that with Dean Hammond. Dean, do you think that was a fair result in the end?
I think it was. I think Brighton were the better team first half, and West Brom were definitely the better team second half, especially when they changed systems, especially when they made the substitutions and brought Robinson on. He had a real effect on the game. You know, he was direct in his approach, put some very good balls in the box, and West Brom really finished strongly. And a good goal by Grant, and he had one opportunity tonight and got a goal. And a little bit disappointed with Brighton. They would have looked to try and get that clean sheet and try and get their first home win of the season, because I think that's an issue really. Their home form's not great, so the manager will be disappointed there, and they looked a little bit weary, a little bit tired at the end, but credit to West Brom, they changed the system and finished the game strong, so definitely deserved a point.
Yeah, I mean, they're still looking for their first win of the season, West Brom, their third draw of the campaign, but will that be a good point earned for Bilic, do you think?
Definitely a very, very good point earned, especially when first half they weren't really in the game. It looked like they'd come for a point. They'd set up with a structure and a shape to try and frustrate Brighton. But I really enjoyed watching them second half, actually. They're better in possession than I realised. Piero, when he got on the ball and he played in that central position, dominated the game and really made things happen. So I would look to play him in there on a more regular basis. I know you need Livermore in there during most of the game because he gives you that protection and he's the captain of the team. But I like Piero in there. So good signs for West Brom. But I think the manager will be desperate for that first win.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully that'll come next week for them. I mean, if you're Slaven Bilic and you've seen such a change in mentality and style of play once you brought on Robinson, is that just he should be maybe leading with that from the off maybe next time, and they won't have to start so defensively and so deep?
Potentially, I think you're right. I think there's definitely a call for that, especially from home. But I think Robinson's just showed there that he can play wide. I think they bought him as a central striker, so it was either him or Grant. But maybe you can have them both in the team where you're playing wide, and then when the ball's on the opposite side of the pitch, he can get into the box and he can attack as a wide player. So he made an effect, and I would look to try and get both of them in the team. Whether you can do that all the time, the Premier League's difficult, and you have to have numbers in the midfield, otherwise you get dominated. But I would try and get them both in the team because they look to fret and they look like they enjoy playing together.
Yeah, so just a word on Neil Mopé. He had a few chances, especially in the first half, for Brighton. If he finishes those opportunities, it's a completely different game. Will he be getting a bit of a slap on the wrist, being kept behind for additional training, do you think, after his performance today? Well, it was a poor performance.
No, I don't think it was a poor performance. I think he'll know he should have done better with the chances, especially the one where Adam Lallana slid him in with a control pass. I think he should have done better there. The one that was slid across the box, couldn't quite get his body position right and was a little bit behind him. But he'll be judged on goals, and I think that's the issue with teams down the bottom half of the Premier League, like Brighton. When you get chances, you need to take them because you don't get many in the game, and then when you don't take them, you give your opposition a chance to get back in the game, which West Brom did second half. So he'll be disappointed, but he's done all right this season. He's a good player. I like his movement, but yeah, he probably should have got a goal tonight, and that would have changed the game.
Yeah, so just a word on the new lad from Ajax, Veltman. What did you make of him on his first Premier League start?
good first half. I think he was, he was replacing Lewis Dunk tonight, and that's big shoes to fill. But he looked comfortable in possession. We talked about it first half, where he had a couple of passes where he split the West Brom midfield. He got it into Adam Lallana and set up an attack, and that's what the Brighton centre halves need to do. That's what they're employed to do, to play out from the back. So a steady performance. Second half was under pressure and got moved to right back in the end, I think. So he'll be quite happy with his debut, but like any defender, would have liked that clean sheet.
Yeah, so just a quick word on the West Brom goal scorer, Carlan Grant. First Premier League goal for his new side today. Do you think he'll be able to cut it at this level consistently?
Well, he's had one chance tonight and he scored, and it was an excellent finish, so it'll be judged by the amount of goals he gets. But he worked hard for the team. Frustrated first half. 9 touches, I think we saw he only had first half. He worked hard, he ran, but he got that chance. So he scored 19 goals, I think you said, last season. So the goal doesn't move. That doesn't change in the Premier League. It just changes the amount of chances you'll get. So he's had one tonight and scored, so the signs look positive.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed for West Brom that first win is just around the corner. Well, that's about it for us here down at Brighton. Thank you very much, Dean Hammond, for your co-commentary this evening. On the way very shortly on Premier League Live, we are going up to Turf Moor for Burnley versus Tottenham Hotspur with James Fielden and Kevin Watson. And this is Premier League Live.
Get ready and hold on tight, because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track? And who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football. Plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
I was never good at spelling. I could read just fine, but I would be afraid if anybody asked me to do anything involving spelling. But since doing the course, all that has changed. I am braver. In fact, I feel braver than ever now. You know, you're never too old to learn. Never.
If reading, writing, maths or technology is holding you back, take the first step. Free phone 1-800-2020-65 or text LEARN to 550 to see how we can help. This free and confidential service is supported by your local ETB, Solis and Nala.
Create the Premier League atmosphere at home with Harvey Norman, the home of the big screen. Feel like you're on the pitch with our stunning range of 4K smart LED and OLED TVs from LG, starting from just $449. Plus, hear every kick, save, tackle, decision with LG's best-in-class soundbars. Get TV ready for all the big games with Harvey Norman. Shop online today or safely in our spacious stores. Harvey Norman, home of the big screen.
Go! Demanding a high performance from your team? You should be demanding the same from your tires. The Irish Tyre Industry Association is urging motorists to stay safe this winter and check the condition of your tyres. You could even be liable for a fine and 2 penalty points if found driving with tyres below the legal tread depth limit of 1.6 millimeters. ITIA expert technicians will carry out a free tyre safety check to ensure your tyres are safe and legal. Visit itia.ie to find your local expert.
As darkness sweeps around the globe at 8 p.m. on the 18th of November, 25,000 people worldwide will pull their running shoes on to hit the road for a virtual 5 or 10k at Run in the Dark. I'm Mark Pollock, and by joining us to Run in the Dark this November, you'll be supporting the Mark Pollock Trust and our charity partner Collaborative Cures, whose mission it is to cure paralysis in our lifetime. Register now at runinthedark.org and get your medal, your flashing armband, and your Run in the Dark virtual timing app. Thank you.
At Paddy Power, we know competition for the remote control can be fierce at the weekends. So in order to give the non-football loving occupants of your house something to do, here are some of our top suggestions. Go for a walk the dog, go cycling, cycle the dog, recycle the dog, just go! All very good options, we say. And that's not the only one. If one leg of your 4+ Fold ACCA lets you down, get a free bet on all football leagues and markets. Paddy Power. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes shop bets. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
Premier League Live with Talk Sport. All the big goals and big moments from the world's biggest football league.
Aubameyang, 3-0. What
What a goal! Son onside, this time for 4! Southampton crumbling here at St Mary's.
Bringing you the best of the Premier League all year round.
Jamie Vardy has a hat-trick against Manchester City at the Etihad. Good delivery and another goal! The keeper came! Oh, he flapped! Meslier makes the mistake.
There's a header and there's a goal from Raul Jimenez. Wolverhampton Wanderers back in the game.
Premier League Live with Talk Sport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Burnley against Tottenham Hotspur from Turf Moor. I'm your host, James Fielden, and alongside me is the former Tottenham Hotspur and Swindon midfielder, Kevin Watson. This is Premier League Live. It's the final game of the Premier League weekend, and an interesting one between two sides who have had contrasting starts to their campaigns. While last week's extraordinary collapse against West Ham was frustrating for Spurs fans everywhere, overall they'll be delighted with their start to the season, especially with all the games they've had to play in a short space of time across multiple competitions. A win tonight would put them 2 points off the top in what is becoming a fairly open Premier League season, and if they can score plenty on the road